Okay. I think we are now successfully live. Slight Coyote, welcome to the stream. Eric Baum, my timing on when you'd be slightly late is unmatched. We're right on time, Eric. Do you not get the letters? I have them delivered via small woodland critter. What is up, Sarum? C-Mac is here. Troper's here. Hellcat, hello. All right. Atraxas, I'll be honest, today's a little bit rough. Woke up, went to bed with a headache, woke up with a headache, and now I am here to take it out on all of you fine folks. Stonehands, what's up? Is that the squirrel I ran over with my car today? It might have been. Did he have a little red scarf on? What's up, Peter dude? I did a draft yesterday with my cousin, and you're right, it does slap. Dude, unfortunately, right? It's heat. Hello, Loaf. Hello, Game Sucks. Hello, Dale. Right on time, boss. Ready to be told once again, I can't build a good deck that isn't aristocrats. I'm cooking up a Mothman deck with Darkness, Earth, and Water Crystal just to spite you. I mean, so here's the thing, right, Hellcat? These crystals are all usable. They're just bracket 2 behavior for the most part. Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Scryfall. Of course I was asking about Amethyst Dragon. So, like, all of these, totally fine, right? Doubling counters is not an effect we're ever mad at. Exiling everybody else's creatures is not an effect we're ever mad at. Putting them in a deck, it's like as spiteful as being like, I'm building a deck with non-OG duels just to spite you. Like, yeah, man, it'll probably still work. I believe in you. I think, like, the Water Crystal is for sure the best one out of the three of those. Like, when it comes to even what Mothman would like, Earth Crystal's great. Like, the thing that gets me about the Earth Crystal for decks like Mothman is, hey, look at this. Look at how this is equally as effective as the Earth Crystal. Because I'm pretty sure Mothman only lets you put one counter on at a time. Yeah, put a 1/1 counter on multiple creatures. So it's like, yeah, this works. This does everything that was going to do. But what if I do it twice? But what if you did it twice with hardened scales is the fucking, right? And so they all function. I'm sure you're going to have green creatures, especially if you lean into the 1/1 counters. So it's just when I'm dunking on these, it's more of putting these in most decks is just a signal to the table that you are playing bracket 2 Magic. I think the Water Crystal and the Fire Crystal could be a signal that you are playing bracket 3 Magic. But if I see Wind, Earth, or Darkness Crystal, Wind, I might believe you have some like quirked up white boy life gain combo. Earth and Darkness are just like, oh hell yeah, we're chilling, dog. We're fucking chilling. Day 1 of asking for my wife, Vanat. This is the wrong platform, and I know it. You know? I feel like all the crystals are at least playable, the worst being the Wind Crystal. Yeah, I think they're all playable. I think they're just all playable in, like, silly or almost spooky. Jaceface, congratulations on top 4ing a sealed RCQ. That's cool as fuck, man. Wakashrew says, build a couple commander decks. I've been getting into it, but it feels like I'm ending up in a trap of making 150 card piles and trying to make cuts. Any alternative building ideas to not do this? I have some ideas. I am going to tell you I am speaking from a position of privilege, which is that I never go over on my deck building piles. I like, if anything, I tend to have trouble getting to 100 cards, and I'm typically trying to like make cuts to a list that only has 90 cards in it. I think what's probably happening to you is you are probably looking at the commander, and tell me if this is right after. You're looking at the commander, you are identifying a keyword or some type of like mechanical phrase on the commander, and then you are just grabbing every fucking card that does that. That's wrong. It's understandably wrong, but that's how you get lost in the Alfredo sauce. The way you get out of the Alfredo sauce is you take that sentence and you think about is this an outcome or is this an engine? Is this a thing that is going to make me creatures, draw me cards, make my creatures more powerful? Or is this a thing that I can use strong creatures or a lot of cards to fuel? And then you have to think about what effects do I want from there. It's harder, and it definitely takes some practice and experience, but that will lead to being like, to having very tight plans of, okay, I need these one or two things to happen, and then I'm happy. Another trap that novice deck builders fall into is they go, okay, what is the first thing I need to have happen for me to be happy? If you're in like an Earth Crystal deck, it's probably like, oh, I need a counter to go on something. And then they go, what else could I do on top of that? What Fortnite dance emote could I do on top of that interaction to make me even happier? And that is where the extremely loud incorrect buzzer starts, and it never stops because people keep going. They go like, okay, well, if I'm playing Mothman, I should play Hardened Scales to get 2 counters per counter. And then like, if I'm playing Hardened Scales, I should play Branching Evolution so that I can get, oh my god, that would be 4 counters for counters. And then if I did Hardened Scales into Branching Evolution, into Earth Crystal, into Mothman, I would be getting like 8 counters per counter. That's fucking amazing. And then you do that, and you have no creatures to put the counters on except Mothman, and he gets shot once, and then you scoop. That is another thing that will often happen, where you worry about the ceiling of what your deck can do, and you don't worry about the floor. You don't worry about the foundational, if this happens once, do I smile? That is the question I am always seeking to answer with my decks, of if I get this bare bones, if I play this card by itself, or if I play this card with my commander, am I smiling? If I need anything else involved in that interaction, I generally don't run it. I'm on these monogamous combos, all right? My deck synergies, not a polycule. I want it to be that card by itself, grinding it out, or I want it to be that card and one thing I'm very confident is going to happen. So that can be like a card with your commander. That can be, oh, this landfall trigger makes me very happy. You Scute Swarm players know what I'm talking about, right? Scute Swarm, I have 40 lands in my deck. I'm very confident the lands are going to happen. That's also just A plus B equals I smile. I have a family emergency and I have to leave. It's an emergency of how bad these decks are. I might steal that. Absolutely, Waka. I'm glad that helps. Terrence is asking, do you think a clone theft deck can have predetermined win con, and why is it monologuing with Xenos Yagalvis? So Xenos Yagalvis is a good option. Um, Clone and theft decks well, let's talk about the difference between preponderance and a like hard win con. Because what I'm going to call a hard win con is something that says I win the game. This is like in CEDH, this is Thassa's Oracle. It is a loop to brain freeze, mill your opponent. It is Approach of the Second Sun. It is something that says like I am winning the goddamn game right now. For clone and theft, it's very possible clone and theft players typically don't want to win. God. For clone and theft, you don't get those hard win cons. You can have soft win cons, which are generally so much damage on your board that you can probably beat people to death. But theft players don't want to run them because they're too busy being naughty. That's the thing. As a theft players are way too fucking busy trying to feel like little bastards to run them. You want to know your win cons? This guy. Hey, look at that. All the theft players are way too busy running unblockable 1/1s to exile the top card of your library and then pay the mana for it anyway, that they're not just running the giant theft creatures that beat you to death and also take your shoes. Which these are the win cons. No, you don't just steal the win con. That's the thing, Xander. That is the other thing that trips people up, is they go, oh, I'm playing theft. I have to steal my win con. You steal a bunch of shit, and if you haven't, by the end of the game, you clone Lord of the Void. You clone Valgavoth. These people are robbing you. We clone Agent of Treachery. And we just take their lands. So there's plenty of win con stealing you can do. The core mistake every theft player I have met makes, and every theft deck I have historically made makes, is the idea that the win con is coming from stealing it. It can come from stealing it. You also have multiple gigantic shitlords who also steal and rob and hit so hard you can kill people with them. You can make a stealing deck with Valgavoth as the commander. You could, I don't know, it probably wouldn't be all that effective. You really want blue. You really want access to blue to have a good solid theft deck. Mono black can do it. Scarab God is probably the better option since you can steal from graveyard. I think that's deeply untrue, Penumbra, but go off, goat. Yeah, Rakdos Theft is also fine. I really just think you need 2-color. I just think doing monocolor theft is probably not going to be that successful. But 2-color theft, yeah, whatever 2 colors you want, dog. Do counter decks usually want something like Yoshimaru to have a creature to put the counters on immediately? Well, generally, yeah, but the specifics of that are up in the air because the counter players are usually too busy cleaning drool off of their magic cards to worry what the cards themselves are. They're not all running Yoshimaru, but most counter decks are running low mana creatures to have a thing to put their counters on. Bialtane, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. Selesnya theft win. That one might not be possible. I'll look into it, you know? I don't even know what O-tag I would search. Thank you, baby. You drink your coffee. All right, we're gonna check. We're gonna check the records for Selesnya theft, and then the people we're looking for today: Atraus, Furious Oatmeal, Dale, who I've seen on YouTube, Eric Baum, who I've seen on Twitch, Sarim, who I've seen on Twitch. So I'm still looking out for Furious Oatmeal on Twitch and Atraus on either platform. I never started the TikTok stream. Hold on, everybody. We've gotta go live. All right, we're live on TikTok. Hunter the Lurker, thank you for the 5 gifted community subs, my friend. Welcome to Dog Heaven. I appreciate that generosity very, very much. All right, O-tag theft. Hey boss, just curious if you'd be open to somebody cashing in a deck roast but using it for help to build a commander they kind of had no idea how to build themselves. Been trying to build it for months, staring at cards. I don't know if I can make it work responsibly. Absolutely, yes, you can, but I would qualify that with do not expect to walk out of the roast with a completed deck. You can absolutely walk out of the roast with, okay, here's what's wrong about your current ideas. Here are the ideas you should invest more time in. Here are some example cards that you should be using. But I for sure cannot promise, hey, I have X commander. I have like 10 cards I know I like. I don't really know how to take it from here. Let's build the other 50 non-lands or something. That's probably going to be too much. No, Alec, I haven't. I will at some point in the future, though. Okay. There's a Darkheart Valkyrie, which that's something. There's Colorless Theft. There's Cybership. Okay, so I do not think... There's Debt of Loyalty, which is very funny. There's Evangelize, which is very funny if you do those, like, board wipe down to one creature. Oh, and then, okay, so Selesnya Theft would actually be, like, Gilt-Leaf Archdruid. It would be a white deck with Gilt-Leaf Archdruid in it and Evangelize in it. Oh, holy shit, Selesnya has Reanimate. That's fucking funny. Okay, so there's something here. There's something here. Yeah, there's hey, it's legal. Yeah, it costs 5, but you're in green. There's something. Okay, Jabari's Influence. That's stealing an aura, which doesn't really matter. Preacher. Okay, so this is a mono white tap it, and then gain control of a target creature. So there's like almost something here. It's not good. Steal an artifact. There's Seraph, which is another like steal creatures that die. Jesus, wow, that's all of it. That's all of it. We can borrow a land with Wellspring. Okay. That I've seen enough to be confident. Um I've seen enough to be confident that you can't make this work. I think if you told me, hey, I have a Selesnya theft deck, I would go, okay. You have an artifact theft deck, and at some point you're going to take my lands with Gilt-Leaf Archdruid, but this is not going to feel like a Selesnya theft deck. I don't think white just does not have the stuff. Neither does green, really. Green has the worst stuff, but they don't have the density of stuff for this to ever feel like an actual game plan. And it's just going to be like, oh, hey, I'm robbing you with artifacts, but also sometimes forests are involved. Isn't that nice? Discard, thank you for the Prime sub, my friend. Welcome to the dog home. I appreciate that generosity. Player of Loyalty's recast Kindred deck Trust. That's what I'm saying, is that's what it would be. And that's not going to feel like a Selesnya theft deck. That's just going to be like, oh, this motherfucker counted to 10 on me. Dywin, I am having a good day. I hope you're having a good day as well. All right, we have to hit the manual ad break on YouTube. And then I don't see oatmeal yet. So I'm going to give Atraus one more chance to sound off. And then if they don't, we're going to open with Dale. Assassin's Echo and anybody on TikTok asking the 3 ways to get your deck featured on stream. I do a free deck roasting raffle on Twitch at the beginning of every month. We sell commissions on Ko-Fi at the beginning of every month. Or, as a joke, but a couple people have done it, is you can pay me $500 and on the spot, I will stop what I am doing and roast your deck. Paranoid Romero, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home. Oatmeal's here. Great. We're going to do the manual ad break, and then it's oatmeal time. Terrence, thank you for that personal question. Which deck... Oh, never mind. Atraus is here, too. We're doing the manual ad break, and then it's Atraus. Which deck does Z main character use that gives you heartburn? I think it was their Aminatu deck. It still is their Aminatu deck, because their Aminatu deck is very much, hey, I stick Aminatu. If any of us attempt to shoot the child, Z has very, very convincing why me's, even when they know they're about to get up to the most foul bullshit ever. And so they'll go like, all right, stick Aminatu, Miracle 4 on all my enchantments. Why would you... Don't crash out. Why would you do that? And then they untap and they go 1 mana Rhystic Study, and then they go, why me? And then I have a seizure. So I think they've cut Rhystic Study from the deck, and so the deck is no longer as but because the miracle reduction is so much, that deck is just like, if Aminatu is on the field, we could get horse fucked any upkeep. What's your thought on bracket 4 as anything goes short of CEDH? Well, Punk, I think that's wrong only because it's not short of CEDH. Bracket 4 is literally anything goes. The only the difference between bracket 4 and CEDH is not CEDH is doing stronger stuff. It's that CEDH is trying to prepare for a tournament meta, and bracket 4 is like just in its own bag. Bracket 4 doesn't give a fuck about what other popular decks are, doesn't give a fuck about what the other popular strategies are, but CEDH is like, oh, I need to have answers for Timna Crom. I need to have answers for Rogside because I know people are going to be playing this, and I need to have ways to shut off their wins. Whereas bracket 4 is just like, I like all these cards. So I wouldn't even call it short of CEDH. In some cases, bracket 4 decks even have like more turbo potential than CEDH because a bunch of them just don't bring interaction. Like, you can get decks that are even faster than CEDH because they're not bogged down with fucking counter spells. And then those decks can also lose way more easily because they're not as resilient as a CEDH deck. But like I like what C-Mac's saying. If you're actively swapping out cards on a 1-for-1 basis to deal with a specific problem that's going to come up from your table, that is more CEDH behavior than bracket 4 behavior. I'm going to try and fix the pile I was working on, an America-themed Pramicon deck. To keep it on one gimmick, should I stick to Pillow Fort, Oil Counter Proliferate, or Goad and Forced Combat? If you have an out for Oil Counter Proliferate, do that. That sounds quite funny. I don't know the Oil Counter win cons well enough, but if you have things that can convert to a win because you have a ton of oil counters, hell yeah. What's up, Brosif from another Yosef? Tav, I love your introductory sentences, dog. All right, I have to use the bathroom, and then it's time for Atraus. Dale, thank you for the $5 super chat on YouTube. Forget this multicolor nonsense. The only theft color we need is blue to steal the light from the table's eyes. Yeah, but I need black for the top card of your library, dog. What the fuck are we talking about? All right, I will be right back, everybody. All right, gang. It's business time. I think Eldrazi are really sexy and Ulamog has some hot curves. Why you gotta say shit like this the moment I get up? Why we gotta... Why we... Don't say facts. Don't say facts. D-Man, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Hello, chat. D-Man looking to instigate. What's the best pie filling? Subsequently, what is the worst pie filling? Explain why. Best is apple. Worst is rhubarb. Explanation, I have functional taste buds. Entario, thank you for the 25-bit cheer. Alright, my tomato sauce is cooking and I can now devote my attention to the funny, angry magic man. Perfect. We all can as we move into me burping, I guess. Atraus' deck roast. Cherries are also really good. Okay, so I don't know. Here's let's start an actual fight. I don't consider pumpkin a pie filling. Pumpkin is my favorite type of pie, but here's my shit, right? For there to be pie, for it to be a pie filling, I need you to have the base. I need you to have a crust, and then here's the filling. All the shit that's happening in the middle here. Pumpkin pie is just a pie. There's no top. Like we're filling it like we're filling a bowl. So I realize this is a somewhat meaningless semantic argument, but there is a distinct difference between pies that have a top and pies that don't have a top. Yeah, key lime pie is not a pie filling. It's just a pie. Does this schematic of a pie make it a ravioli? Kind of, yeah. And so like we're talking about what kind of ravioli filling we like, and rather than like pizza. Yes. Yes, oatmeal's got it. Pumpkin pie is more of a tart. So yeah, pumpkin pie is my favorite tart filling. I mean, lemon meringue pie or chocolate silk pie aren't pies. They're still pies. I just don't consider that stuff as a pie filling. In the context of what is the best pie filling, I'm just not counting these things where the entire dish is a pie, but it doesn't have a top. Was that the loudest gulp I've heard today? Because I have devastatingly bad neck problems where I'm in a lot of pain all the time, and so my swallowing is a little fucked up because of it. Isn't that cool? All right, Hellcat, stop being contrarian. All right, we're two in on food. We're two in on food. I have not had pumpkin ravioli, Gilmain. Okay, so without further ado, we are going to get into Atratus's deck roast. Now, she has requested that we do the Foghorn Maldhorn voice. I'm honestly, my neck is been bad enough recently. I'm not certain that I can do this. It's difficult to move my jaw correctly. So give me like a minute to try to get into the voice, and I'll let you know if I'm able to hold it or not. What the fuck, Tickle Mc? I can't. Your name's blue, so I can't read all of it. I can't really do Kevin for an entire roast. I could do Kevin for a scripted deck roast, but Kevin is like, that boy is talking way too fast. I would be saying nonsense, and I don't think I would be saying funny nonsense. Alec, man, I think I missed that question, so please hold it until we're on the other end of this deck roast. Insert creative name. I'm not going to MagicCon Vegas. I am going to MagicCon Atlanta. Tim Rose, I'm afraid to say yes, but yes. Okay. I said. Can I maintain this style of talkery while we discuss Atratus's commander deck? Or will Atratus hear this voice and immediately say, no, no, sir, please, please, stop foisting this terrible, terrible voice upon me? I know if DMC is here, our beloved goon vizier, they will be running for the hills presently. Penumbra, listen, is happening. Can I pay you to preserve your voice? Well, so the thing is, it's not too hard on my voice right now, but because I have to move my jaw in a different way, it can be difficult when my head's bad because the jaw problems are comorbid. Comorbid is he's fitting to start reckoning. All right, I reckon. I reckon. I said. Okay, we're gonna try it. We're gonna check out Atratus's deck. This is a spooky deck. This deck is a trauma response I started building around 10 years ago when I exclusively played CEDH decks in a trench coat. It is 3 jankety playstyles because every time I would try to get any individual thing going, it would get countered or removed. I'd like for it to be a little faster or a little more consistent, but I'm not sure about hard focusing down onto one game plan. Okay, gentle snake mommy. Stack the deck, mill 'em out, or combo yourself. Interaction? Sorry, I looked at the Gorgon. In a perfect world, we can win turn 3, but typically goes off around 6 or 7. The game plan is overall the same as it is with every game of Commander. Play Solitaire and hope to God nobody draws into removal, right? This is 3 game plans in a trench coat, so if the funnier early game combos get sniped, then we have to dump our hands to Uber Mask to stop our opponents from having fun, or to Puzzle Box to get more cards we can reposition into a different win con without too much stress. Oh boy, this. You know, like when TV shows have the comic relief character of a child who's obviously being raised in an abusive household, and everyone's like, when is he gonna say something so out of pocket that the protagonist is going to save them from this dire situation, and it never happens? This seems like the end result of one of those children. So we've already admitted to being a trauma response. That seems completely accurate from this primer. So let me get this straight. The core premise of our deck is Sultai no interaction. Bracket 4, by the way. Sultai combo deck, no interaction. And we're standing on that. Excellent. So we skip our draw step. Nobody freak out of the 28 lands. Honestly, I see 24 artifacts, and if 3 of those are not Moxen, then I will begin to freak out. So a 4/4 with Death Touch, we skip our draw step, but on our upkeep, if we have fewer than 7 cards in hand, we draw to 7. So okay, we vomit our hand, we draw to full. I have no idea why this is your commander, other than reasons I will not say in public. Card draw, no. Wow. Sure, okay. Okay. I'm I'm willing to witness a little bit of cookery here. I don't believe in it with 28 lands in the deck, but you know, if we were going to rush to our commander and then redraw all the cards, I think this is in here. I think this is Freak Bond, the card, unfortunately. I think there is a little bit. Oh, God, I'm sorry, you guys. I think there is a little bit of mechanical cookery going on, and I think most of what's going on here is I saw Mana Bond, and I said, what if the M stood for Freak, and I put it in the deck. Okay, so this is scary. I think we called it spooky because it's a scary deck that doesn't work good, but it's scary. Brandon, I will point out I'm not hungover. I've been sober for a little over a year, but I do feel disturbingly close to how being hungover felt because the neck problems are so bad. All right, so we have Mystic Remora, we got the usual suspects of CEDH, and then we have girl. They make mermaid pornography. We can we don't have to cram every urge in our life into this one commander deck. We got 28 lands in this bitch. We got 28 lands in this bitch. And we farted out 5 of them turn 1. Alright, then we have more CEDH usual suspects. I don't know what the fuck the bell is doing in here. Okay, I gotta sit up for this one. I gotta sit up for this one. Funny combo piece. Are you like one of them Dane Cook fans? Is that what makes this funny? Alright, we have Field of the Dead. We have Mind Over Matter. I mean, I don't know exactly what this combo's with, but I do know that Mind Over Matter is basically always combo food. Retreat to Hagra. Okay, so we must have a way to, or I'm going to extend a little bit of faith to you and believe that we have a way to loop playing lands. Because if we don't have a way to loop playing lands, this is absolutely fucking unhinged. But if we do have a way to loop playing the lands, then sure, I believe you. Alright. We have Penman's Aura, which I think works if... What the hell going on here? Why are we... What? What the fuck is going on, Atraus? So we... This deck looks like a paleontologist found the bones of like 5 different dinosaur species and then tried to put them back together into one creature. Cuz there's so many different combos here and none of them have the support they need. None of them have the depends undergarments that they require to function, but we have like I think this is the most distinct combos I've ever seen in one deck while simultaneously having such a poor ability to execute any of them. No. We're going to break me out of the accent on that one. Don't do that. There's almost no chance that the land coming in tapped is worth milling somebody for half their deck in a bracket 4 combo deck. Jador is beautiful. Atraus, do you know you can have more than one commander deck built at a time? Jador is beautiful. We can have a Jador deck. This is not the Jador deck. This is like the drunk guy at the party who's like, oh, you don't really know me unless I've told you my entire life story. We can talk about the weather. You can just tell me about your gym routine. I do not need to hear about elementary school. And cramming Jador into this combo deck is very much you being like, nah, but you don't understand what happened when I was 8 and I played with my very first Tonka truck. Sure, hate piece. First thing resembling interaction I've ever seen. Hell yeah, sister. Hell yeah. Now we're both staring at her. Only a little... Cumulative upkeep. Whenever you pay the upkeep, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to the number of age counters and put it into play. If you do, shuffle your library. The damn shame. Illiteracy is a goddamn shame. I tell you. Well, the thing is, all right. Chat, I'm amenable to your concerns. This is not even solitaire, or like it's solitaire, but half of the cards are from an Uno deck. That's what's getting me. I'm bracket 4, anything goes. That means solitaire goes. But we've got a solitaire deck. We've got some Uno cards. I think I saw a domino piece earlier. Yeah, there it is. Got a Monopoly man running around the solitaire game plan. So... Alright. It's... I think they said 3 decks in a trench coat. I think we're verging on 30 now. Is this deck a fever dream? No, this appears to be a deck built by parts, and every time they found a new combo, they tried to find a way to put it in the deck, apparently at the expense of their land base. Okay. Doing land. What? 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 What is happening? What? What is this tagged ramp? This I I swear to God, this deck looks like it was created by every time the original deck lost, the pilot had to pick a card from that deck and put it into this deck. Like reverse ante. That appears to be how we have created this Atraus, is we've every time we got our asses beat, which appears to have been numerous, we had to pick a card from that deck and swap out one of our good cards. Alright, so whatever, and then we have shut the fuck up, Atraus. I don't want to hear a goddamn thing about Wirewood Lodge. Oh. Okay, and then we have Thoracle anyway. Why is Tom Hanks here? Why the fuck? Okay, so Atraus, I'm gonna speak to you directly now. I want you to imagine the average Commander game as an MMA fight. You can have a variety of different methods to assault your opponent and achieve victory. And what's happened here with this Damia deck is you were working your stand-up game, right? And you couldn't get in. Maybe their arms were too long, they had the leg kicks, whatever. And instead of working on takedowns or your ground game, you pulled out a fucking chessboard. What the fuck is happening in here? We have, not only do we have a variety, like more distinct combos than I have ever seen contained in one deck, none of them help each other. It's one thing if you go, I have this core, I have this useful core of things that generate me value, and I will use those value generations for like, you know, a couple different distinct outlets that are all helped. But we just have, man, these 3 cards are good, huh? Put them in. Man, these 4 cards are good, huh? Put them in. Man, these 5 cards are good, huh? Put them in. Do they know each other? Fuck no. Fuck no. We're at the good card family reunion right now. I mean, the thing is, actually, it can win, certainly, because we are full of combos, and our commander is a source of card advantage. So it's extremely likely that we will draw into one of these at some point. And Terrence, no, we don't, which is incredibly confusing, because we are not above Thoracling. We're not above going infinite immediately, but we are apparently above Vampiric Tutor. And so I think to the original premise of the deck, which is like, well, I'd like it to be faster or more consistent. The answer is cut some of these wacky ass combos. Like, you know. Like, what if, Atraus, too many times my surge has been stifled after 3 or 4 by a tutor? You just gotta believe. I do not believe. Well, here's the thing. I believe it can happen. I believe this is the equivalent of trying to have like a play wrestle session with a Roomba that has like 18 different kitchen implements attached to it. Like, playing with this deck has to be like fighting fucking Pennywise from It, because we have no idea how quickly you're gonna go off. You also, notably, are like, listen, me personally, I love politicking. You are fucking possible to politic with, because you cannot help solve any problems. You have zero removal. The only problem you can solve is the problem of the rest of us playing Magic. So you can't remove things, you can't counterspell things, you cannot establish incremental value. All you can do is open up your pamphlet of combos A through theta and hope you are achieving one of them. And so this type of deck, quite frankly, you cut off the best part of Magic, which is participating in the politics of it, which is participating in the like the scheming and the deal making. Because you can't ever go like, okay, well, if I use my removal here, I want you to promise this permanent is resolving. Or if you let this permanent resolve, I promise I will do XYZ. Like, that is 80% of the joy of Magic, and this deck has opted out of it in favor of, let's see, in favor of Laquatus. Much like every girl who peaked in high school, we have denied our destiny for a dumb man in an expensive outfit. C-Mac, I do know. And so, Atraus, I just want to impart to you, this is for sure a trauma response, and we gotta work this shit out. Because you have the pieces of a functional combo deck. A functional combo deck that can use Damia, Sage of Stone. Elf Ball's real. Do we have Gaia's Cradle? No, yet another card we have missed. What the fuck is this doing? Is it cowards, or is it people who want to play Magic the Gathering? Because this could be responsible is the thing. Like 28 could be responsible. It could. Not adventurers in. Oh, look, you've interacted. Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. So we have some choices. I think that's what's getting me. We have some choices that are obviously made because they are optimal. Like Ancient Tomb, obviously made for optimization. Boseiju, obviously made because it's a good card. Shockland, obviously because it's good. And then we have goddamn Jungle Hollow, because we're afraid that if we have too much fun, the bullies that taught us how to play Magic are going to get us again. I don't even want to roast you at this point. I want to roast the assholes who taught you this game. Because that's what it seems like to me. Is it seems like we have a deck that could be great and is trying to kneecap itself because it's afraid it's going to get teased again. And that hurts. That's a deep pain that's hard to heal. And you can begin healing by putting in a goddamn Pact of Negation to protect your fucky ass combo. So if you want to do creature combos, right, Pact of Negation doesn't have to be the out. Because apparently we want to be a Primal Surge deck. You can do Primal Surge combo. That's extremely possible. But we need to be on Primal Surge combo instead of fucking also. What if I attempt to... We got the life gain lands for Exquisite Sanguine. Oh, broke my brain. Hold on. The analogy machine broke. Why are we pissing into a hurricane like this, dog? Like, yes, we have a life gain land for Exquisite Sanguine. People are going to gain or lose life. That just happens. That just happens in Commander all the time. If you get Exquisite Sanguine, it's not very difficult to cause life gain or life loss one time after that. Stony, I'm live on both right now. I'm currently focused on Twitch chat because we're roasting a Twitch viewers deck, and it is just. So here's. Oh boy. Oh boy. So here's the thing. Atraus, you are totally lost in the Alfredo sauce. That Alfredo sauce happens to be high quality, direct from Italy. You have a lot of good individual cards, and a lot of your 2 to 3 card choices do make sense in a vacuum, right? Saying, okay, I have exquisite bond, sanguine blood. I want to have ways to gain life. Boom, I'll put these life gain lands in. That decision makes sense in a vacuum, but you're never considering what you are giving up to do that. We're giving up speed. We've given up the ability to interact with the game, to fit in 13 different combos. We've given up ways to protect our own combo. Like, we don't even have, what is it? It's not, I don't think Coiling Oracle is the right one. No, hold on. Like, oh, I want to be a Primal Surge combo deck, so I can't run non-permanents. That's fine. That doesn't stop you from running interaction in big mana Sultai Zone. And like this, you're a Gorgon deck. You got no excuse. You got no excuse except you are sabotaging yourself because you refuse to heal from your first 5 Commander games in which they kicked you into the corner quite fiercely. So like there's so much stuff we can do here. It starts with picking 2 combos. That's your homework if you want this deck to function. Is 2 combos that we are going to play around. And everything that does not execute that combo has to be a thing that lets you stay in the game, that lets you draw into your combo, or lets you protect your combo. If you want one of them to be Primal Surge, which I think you probably want it to be, given how many terrible fuck-ass permanents we have in here, you can use stuff like Mystic Snake, Frilled Mystic. I think there's specifically a Sultai one that came out in Talkia Dragonstorm. There's a world of things we can do. But right now, in trying to do everything, we are achieving nothing outside of pulling a slot machine. And I am genuinely sorry that when you started playing this game, your friends convinced you that that was what Magic is about. That is not... I'm not going to say it is, you're not banned from playing Magic that way. However, there's so much joy to be had when you expand beyond that very narrow vision of, hey, I hope I draw my combo and nobody can stop it. Stack Wars can be fun. You can sandbag interaction until people waste theirs. There's a whole world of things that we can do that you're already at the power level of, that just involve executing more reasonably. And instead of doing that, we're just yanking the slot machine because we don't want to feel like what this deck says to me deeply is I don't want to feel responsible for losing anymore because people made me feel bad when they beat me the first time. This feels like I'm going to throw a ton of spaghetti at the wall because the first time I cooked pasta, everybody teased me. They said it wasn't done well. And I can't feel that again. So now I'm just going to yeet ravioli at the wall. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, not my fault. And we got to heal from that. And I believe in your ability to heal from that. And I believe in your ability to cut this fuck-ass Magus of the library. Let's go to the board. Because the thing is, every individual combo also reasonable. Every individual combo can go into a different deck and work correctly. They just don't have room to breathe in this deck. Where the fuck did the slideshow go? Okay. You are lost in the sauce, Atraus. Let me make sure I spelled that right. Atraus. Okay, I got your name right. But my glorious sister, we must heal. We must heal. This is not how we heal. This is how we perpetuate suffering. This is how you someday, Atraus, a child, a new player might see this deck and lose to it because God hates them, and they might think this is the correct way to play Magic, and boom, the cycle of abuse. The wheel of hatred is turned again. We do not exist simply to suffer. We exist to counterspell with sexist snakes. So, Atraus, that's going to be it for you. Thank you for submitting. To Mr. C-Mac's question, what is the goal location on the deck placement axis? Depending on what you submitted, it's typically here or here. YouTube short behavior is derogatory. I think some people will. YouTube short behavior is a classification I have for this is a funny combo I wanted to tell my friends about, but because I didn't think they would listen to me talking about something I was genuinely excited about, I tried to cram it into a competitive context to force them to listen. So, Mal, do you think the like zero interaction, fuck it, let's gamble and see what happens is universally bad, or can it sometimes be good and funny? Because I'm not going to lie, I personally enjoy it and find it funny from time to time. It depends on the deck. I have decks where I have very, very low amounts of interaction because I am confident that I'm going to be the problem from minute one. A CEDH example of this is Gruul Atali. This deck has some interaction, but for the most part doesn't, because it's like, I need this thing to happen, and if this thing happens, I'm confident that you're going to have to deal with me. I'm not going to have to deal with you. They're also limited on colors for good interaction, but that's a little bit beside the point here. So I do have decks where I'm very, very low on interaction. I basically never go zero. I think zero interaction, fuck it, gamble, see what happens, is just missing out on a huge part of the game. There's also a difference between running zero interaction and not being able to solve problems. Like, let's, for example, point out my Henzi deck. My Henzi deck, quite low on interaction. I have very few cards in that deck that are dedicated to all you are is removal. However, I have cards like Tree Shaker Chimera, which I think is straight out of the precon. That's not me being clever. This is a thing that works really well in the deck and can solve a problem. All creatures able to block it have to, and so if I swing it at a player who has a problematic board, I'm probably going to pseudo wipe or clear a lot of shit off of their board. That is interaction, even though it's a big shithouse creature that's funny in my Henzi deck. And so, though, like, when we talk about is it funny to not run any interaction, I think there are decks that can get away with running basically zero interaction. I think if your deck is unable to solve problems, that is universally bad. All, like, not universally the deck is weaker, but universally you have made a mistake and will enjoy the game less because of it. And I'm not saying that to dunk. I'm saying that as like, please, please try it differently and you will feel better. What counts as a problem is other people's spells or permanents. If you cannot deal with, if you cannot point at other permanents and make them go away, if you cannot deal with something bad happening on the stack, that's a problem for you. And so like another version of problem solving is if you have a big stompy deck, this can be most of your interaction. You don't need a bunch of targeted removal. If you're like, I'm always going to have more creatures than everybody else, and my creatures are always going to be bigger than everybody else's, your interaction does not have to be fucking swords to plowshares. Your interaction can be, how do I make my board not get blown out? Because all I need to happen is for these dipshits to stick around, and then I win. Okay, but how much interaction is too few? That is impossible to give you a hard number for, and depends entirely on the deck. I ask because I'm a heavy mono red enjoyer, and I'm finding that mono red struggles with dealing with certain things. Almost zero stack interaction, almost no enchantment removal. Oh yeah, for sure. And at that point, that is a how you interact with the politics of the table situation. Like the red player should always be motoring down the enchantment player from turn one. And if you're not, you're making a mistake. Like if you have like if you're building the new Clive, right, and you are going to get a big board of red creatures, and you are swinging at anybody but the non-creature player, like the enchantments player, because you can deal with the artifacts player. You can probably fuck with the creature player as well. But if there's an enchantment player and you're swinging at anybody but them, you have fucked up. And so there's not only decisions you have to make in deck building, there's target selection decisions you have to make when you get to the game that will influence how am I interacting. Like you can't just go, oh, this person's open. You have to think about who can I afford to play against in the late game. And if there's an enchantment player and you're red, you can't afford to play against them in the late game. They're going to hose you every fucking time. So that is another layer to it. And then to close the loop on Carlos's question, yeah, how much is too few? It really, really depends on what situations are bad for you. Hey, thank you, medic. Like for Z and I recently built a Choco deck together. And for that deck, we were relatively confident we're always going to, or we're very good at curving out with creatures on board. We're very good at getting lands into play. We're very good at casting big spells. The problems that could occur for us are other people board wiping us, other people killing Choco, or other people hitting big creatures faster than us. And so the only interaction in that deck right now is like counter spells, protection magic, and then one-sided board wipes. Nope, not fucking Choco kick. Wrong. Wrong and bad, Revan. Unfortunately, it would be thematic. It's not correct. And so it's ways to keep Choco alive, it's ways to keep the board alive, and then it's ways to rip a fully one-sided board wipe so that the birds can trample you. Which of these three angles do you think has the best chance of playing Magic with Titus as the commander? Energy counters, charge counters, or oil counters? I'm trying not to brew around +1/+1, and it's so hard to get access to keyword counters. I'm not speaking to an area of true authority right now. In Bant, I would believe the most in energy, only because we've had two sets recently. We've had two recent sets where energy counters got support. And then to answer TikTok questions, Ko-Fi is just a platform like Patreon, but Patreon did not let me sell the roasts as like one-off things. So Ko-Fi is just a platform that lets me sell the deck roastings as a one-off commissions rather than like a membership. because they're expensive enough that I don't want people to have to sign up month to month. Can you build me a power level 3 of the new Cloud Commander and I'll commission it? Goomba, I'm gonna say no on that one. That might be something I offer in the future, but I think that robs you of the fun part of the deck building, which is all the cute little cards that you want to include. I'll tell you this much. A thing I am doing for Patreon now is Patreon exclusive deck builds. These are not like crazy heat, but if you want more access to deck lists that I am building that I think are like, here's a fun bracket 2, here's a fun bracket 3 deck, those will be available via Patreon membership in the future. What are my thoughts on Titus Yuna's Guardian? Lucky, they a whole bitch. Whole bitch. I hate him. I hate him deeply. I hate them deeply. But Goomba specifically on Patreon, it's not as easy as like, oh, just request and then I will be done. It's probably going to be like one a week, and I can't promise which commander a week. When building decks, how do you balance the want to build thematic like Choco Kick versus wanting to build a good deck? I decide before I start picking cards what I want the deck to be. And then it's really, really easy. I'm extremely privileged to I get to pick whatever play group I want. So there's a legitimate difficulty in like, oh, I have to build for my LGS where I don't know who I'm going to be playing against versus I'm building it to play with Z. I'm going to play with Gabe. I'm going to play with Michael. I know how these people build their decks. I know what power level we're doing. And so when I sit down to build a deck, I can just go like, okay, this is going to be a bracket 2 meme deck. And I know that it will have a home as a bracket 2 meme deck. And so I don't have to worry about having a bunch of big, powerful stuff because I'm for sure going to be able to play this the way I want to. Or if I'm building a good deck, I'm like, I'm building this for bracket 3 or I'm building this for bracket 4. And so it's going to be a good deck and I'm going to get as much theme in as I can, but it has to be good. First Fade King, yes. Unfortunately, I think it used to be, if you were building a bird deck, you were either playing Derevi, and it felt like you were playing CEDH, even if you weren't, or you were building a bad bird deck. Now, it's very much, if you are building a non-competitive bird deck, you are building Choco, or you are wrong. And by wrong, I just mean like you're making a flavor decision rather than a power level decision. But if you're like, oh, I want a good, effective bird deck, it's Choco or you're wrong. And all those other good birds can go into Choco, but it has to be Choco. Zanita, or Anita, Anita Deek. Thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. Oh no, you're the green player. Who saw it? Doodles. Thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. Ghost, how do I build a good commander deck? That is unfortunately complicated. It's one part experience. A lot of it is trying to understand what do you want the deck to do turn to turn, and then picking cards that let you do that. That sounds very amorphous, but if when you're deck building, you just ask like, well, okay, what do I want to happen on turn 1? Doesn't always have to be something. Plenty of decks skip turn 1. If you don't need anything to happen, you can avoid 1-drops outside of the really, really good ones. If you go, okay, turn 2, I really want to get more mana to play my commander. then you have a bunch of mana dorks. You'd probably have those on turn 1 as well. But yada yada yada. If you go like, okay, what is the basic land and stuff? All right, this is probably like command zone YouTube video type time. I would always start with 35 to 40 lands. If you have a different number of lands than that, you are either very right or very wrong. 35 to 40 is kind of the baseline that I use for a lot of bracket 2 to bracket 3 decks. I mean, the thing is, Hellcat, not everybody wants to play at the power level where Moxen are appropriate. Like, doing Mox Lotus Petal stuff is very fun when you're at high power, but quite frankly, not everybody wants to have the games pop off that quickly. Happy weekend, Planewalker. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Any older keywords you'd want to see come back? For me, it's Unleash or Bushido. It's not really come back because they've gotten serviced recently, but I can never get enough ninjas. I can never get enough ninjas. Maldown, do you think Chocobos is a good way to do landfall? Literally anything that says landfall on it is a fine way to do landfall. It is the most spoon-fed, like, baby food. It is a baby food IV of commander deck building. Do whatever, put lands in the deck. Got him. All right, we have to hit the manual ad break, and then it's going to be time for Furious Oatmeal's deck. Yeah, Bone Lich, I'll tell you this for free. Right now, every commander deck I build starts with me putting 40 command towers into the list, and then I go from there. I put in 40 fucking command towers, and then I start picking non-lands. And then as I get to the end, if the curve is super fucking low, I will begin cutting a few of the command towers, and then after the deck works with all command towers, then I will get like the actual land base. I think Castrol did. I think Castrol is one of the only expensive birds. I think there's like 20 to 30 birds that are mostly 1 and 2 drops, and then there's like 1 or 2 birds that are more expensive than Choco, and I think Castrol is one of them. That's cheaper than Choco. Yeah, it's 3 mana. Oh, no. I think because Castrol's 5. He's the one where, like, every time a bird hits somebody, you bust. Yeah. Okay. And then another dark blue name on Twitch chat. This is the German translation. Joyboy, do you think it'd be worth me dropping $200 on a play booster set, or better to wait? So, Joyboy, the answer is always, if opening packs brings you pleasure, do it. If you have the disposable income to do it just for the joy. If you are doing it to try to get cards that are either worth money or will be good for your commander decks, buy the singles, proxy the singles, and then purchase less sealed product. If opening a pack that has nothing expensive and nothing relevant for your favorite commander does not make you happy, do not buy the like booster boxes. Do not. It will just be bad for you. But if you're like, oh shit, this card is cool, maybe I'll build a deck around it one day, even if I don't have that deck now. If you're like, oh my god, this art fucks so hard, like, then opening packs can be your drug of choice. And I'm not going to dunk on you for that. But if you're like, ooh, if I get this play booster box, maybe I'll get a Maybe I'll get a Buster Sword. Maybe I'll get a. I just got into Magic, so I don't have anything to build anything. Precons. Precons, my friend. My brother or sister and or sibling in Adenalcium. Precons are your best friend. Get a look at precons. Find an art you think looks dope as fuck. Get that precon, and then after you play that precon a few times, start looking at individual cards to upgrade that precon. Because the precons, there's plenty of precons that are like $40 and will just play Magic out of the box, or you can look up a precon deck list and proxy it. But yeah, do not. I would not drop a ton of money just to get like a big pile of stuff to build with. Yeah. Absolutely, dude. Because I got, like, when I got into the game, I got in via precons. Then I upgraded my precons, and then I tried building my own decks. Get AC and play against Xenagos Dragons. What's a good precon? I got the Bloomborough Scroll one. Most are good, Jordan. There's a couple that kind of suck. Like the energy precons are pretty fucking bad, but most of them are fine. I'm stealing my sibling in Adenalcium. Don't know why I never thought of that. I stole it from like a Tumblr post. That's not even a Maldhound original. That's just creative energy from MH3. The MH3 one I do believe in. I'm thinking of the energy one from Aether Drift was a massive letdown. I just got all 4 Ixalan precons for $80 at a random hardware store. Dovo, where the fuck do you live? Because I'm about to visit. Foundation's starting collection is decent for new players since you know exactly what you get and has decent amount of great cards. I do think it's decent. I still think the better on-ramp is preconning. Okay, Oatmeal, are you here? I'm not going to know because I'm going to the bathroom, but I'll be right back. Everybody on TikTok, we are live on Twitch and on YouTube. Twitch, because of TOS, is the only one who gets to have their chats on screen. So if you want your chats to appear and shit, head over to Twitch. But I'll be right back. Okay. We're back live. I'm looking for Oatmeal's confirmation that they are alive. Nighty Night. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. I appreciate that generosity. All right, Oatmeal's here. It's time to get him. This is a scary deck. Primers in the Mox field. Short answer, infinite combo deck using graveyard and counters. Excellent. Can I count on it? Oh, you're fucked. You fucked up, Oatmeal. You wanna know why you fucked up? It's because when I. Oh shit, never mind. We'll do that bit after. Frozen, thank you for the 5 gifted Tier 1 subs, my friend. Welcome to Dog Heaven. I appreciate your generosity so much. Anyway, you fucked up, Oatmeal. You know why? Because I'm just as stinky as you are. And when I began dabbling in CEDH, the deck I used was Tayam. It was quite bad then. It's worse now. But I have played the fuck out of a Tayam deck. Do I remember any of it? No. I repressed it after getting my shit pushed in by a Krakashima player. However, you cannot trick me into believing that your bad combos in this deck are good, because I know what the good combos are like. Furious Oatmeal, thank you for the 100 bits. I saw the CEDH stream last Tuesday and heard you say that, and I went, oh no. Yeah, so let's get into how you bastardized my baby. So for those of you who don't know, Tayam, each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional vigilance counter on it for 3 mana, and removing 3 counters from among creatures you control. Put the top 3 cards of your library into the graveyard, then return a permanent with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. There is a ton of tricky bullshit you can do here. It's very fun. A lot of the common stuff is like, oh, I'm going to use Devoted Druid, because you can put -1/-1 counters on them to add mana. You can take those counters off as part of Tayam's thing. This is 3 counters of any kind. You can also, I mean, if this deck does not have Luminous Broodmoth, I'm probably going to ban you from the stream. That is one of the core enablers, which is when something dies, bring it back with a flying counter on it. This is another type of counter we can remove to do Abzan combos. But a lot of the lines are actually more simple than you think. You really just need ways. We really just need ways to get infinite mana, some type of loop to mill our library, and then we can get a ton of shitters onto field, and then we can Finale of Devastation. That's correct, Prado. When I talked about it last week, I was talking about it last week while I was talking with a comedian, because I was so sad that it's not that it just fucking has fell off so hard. It was even not that great when I was playing it, and it was just you can make it work. But it's not the top of the meta. Tuscan Fury, thank you for the 500-bit cheer. For admitting you were once a green player, remember you can still come home. Dude, I will after I get these milk and cigarettes, dog. Okay, so what do you have? Jumpstart combos. So for 3 mana, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control when they enter. Something dies, make a token. Non-token creature, bolster 1. Okay, so immediately I'm sniffing a little bit of the previous deck where we were like, how can I combo with as many different cards as possible, instead of how can I get to the combo cards as quickly as possible? I don't think Abzan Ascendancy's wrong. Well, 3 mana do nothing bracket 4 makes me itchy. That's what I'll say about this card. Maybe you're doing something fucked up with the sacri- Nope. I mean, hey, that's overrun. Alright, there's our boy. There's our boy. That's some goodwill you've purchased. You've purchased a little bit of goodwill by having Mothra in here. Proliferate. I'm gonna keep it so 100 with you, Oatmeal. These could all be tutors, and you wouldn't miss them for a moment. Ah. Now I'm debating if there's a combo or if you think putting a 1/1 counter on combos with proliferating. Okay, death touch counters. There's like no way we have the legendaries for this to matter. Into the bin. Probably unnecessary. I can see it. I can see it. Almost definitely unnecessary. Well, I mean, okay, exile a card from your graveyard, add a mana of any color. These aren't the combos? Why are they here? Nyx Weaver, almost definitely unnecessary. Maybe this guy for the channel if you're in bracket 4. Mando Corso, thank you for the prime sub, my friend. Welcome to the dog home. This guy's the GOAT. Haste enabling is fucking awesome. Stitcher's Supplier is definitely possible. Gotta search. Okay, so we're not above tutoring. Where? 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 What have you done with my children? What have you done with my fucking children? Why is there a shitty draft common in this deck? Tutors are for cowards? Call this bitch courage. Where's the section? Yes, they are. And we are fraidy cats. Winning the game for goddamn coward bitches. Like, if we're in bracket 4 and we're not tutoring, we're wasting motherfuckers' times. I sometimes noticed I didn't have enough counters on creatures to activate Tayam. Okay, so then at that point, let's talk about efficiency and speed. Because another thing I'm getting very nervous about, let's see, this is 7 cards, 9 cards, 16 cards. We're 30 cards deep. There are 36 lands I haven't seen yet. I have not seen a single stacks piece. So I'm getting a little pit sweat about that. Because the thing about Abzan, we mosey to our combos. We do not sprint. Like, yeah, I believe you might notice. I believe you might notice that, hey, I don't have enough counters to combo off immediately. That's by design. We do not have the meth of red or the Adderall of blue. We walk in a relaxed manner to our combos. To get there on time, we got to put a bike lock around other people's knees. I have not seen a single bike lock. I have not seen any cabling. I don't even see a zip tie in here. They have Entomb Mojo. Let's search the deck again. Sacrifice I'm willing to make. Probably not to any of these. Maybe Dementia. Maybe Dementia. Delicious fought. Why are what? What? What's the fodder for? Look at what this bitch has done to my boy. Look at what Oatmeal has done to my glorious tree man. Okay, so we're doing Ashnod's combos, which I disagree with, but okay. Overworked Gardeners. Normal stuff. Sure. I won't freak out. Raccoon behavior. Okay, so this is, yeah, Eternal Witness is definitely usable. I don't believe in Nyx Weaver. The reason I'm just going I don't believe it instead of totally freaking out about a bunch of these is we're at the level where everything has to help, and we're picking a lot of cards that do medium help And every time I see you pick a card that does medium help, I'm seeing a Rogsai player combo off in your face. Like when I see Oversold Cemetery, I see a lack of Containment Priest, which I don't think we would want to run Containment Priest because we're having non-token creatures come in without casting them. But the thing of like Eidolon of Rhetoric, Rule of Law, I'm seeing the lack of all of the things that a bracket 4 Tayam deck needs to not just get exploded by a deck with black and blue in it. There we go. You need to slow down. We've got a mistag. We've got a mistag. I'm not looking to get to CEDH levels, just bracket 4, which is mentioned in the primer. Right, but there's a meaningful difference of, like, just switch that out for, okay. So there's a difference between they all have to be totally accurate meta calls and also my deck lets you win in my face, which is what I'm mostly worried about because genuinely, no matter how fast we make Abzan, the reason that Tayam defaults into a stacks deck at the CEDH level is because Turbo Tayam is slower than moderate speed everything else. And so, like, even if we don't do super hardcore meta calls, we're almost never going to get enough gas in the tank to be, like, this chill with other people casting spells. Because we have, like, Grand Abolisher, which is great. We can protect our combo turn. That's quite important. But we seem to have taken the, okay, we have some removal. Good. Good, thank fuck. I'm gonna move that on back to thank frick. But we do have some removal, and like Grasp of Fate we can bring back. Nowhere to Run we can bring back. That's dope. Plague Crafter we can bring back. Okay. Excellent. And we have an Austere Command, which will fuck up everybody who's not us. Who said you could touch my stuff? I like the land. A garden that is free of any buried bodies. True and real. True and real. Yeah, so like I think it's... I think the story of this deck is if we look at this deck versus CEDH, which I realize you don't want to be CEDH. That is just the closest comparison because we're not about to go compare this to a bracket 2 deck. We've given up resiliency. We've given up interaction. And what have we gotten in this trade? 3 additional bugs, my lord. Molt Tender, where's the other guy? And Mortician Beetle. They're gonna fuck everybody up. So I do think it probably can work. Let me look at the specific. Yeah, hey, look at that. We got a million fucking ways to produce infinite mana. Beautiful. So I think this list, this is probably where we got lost in cookery. Because this is a relatively long list of different ways to do it, which is not the worst thing ever, but when we don't have... When we're missing out on a ton of the tutors that are typically like part and parcel of high-level Magic, even if we're not doing CEDH, I generally think whatever you have experienced as like probably Living Death if I'm being totally real. If we're being totally real, like I think whatever combos have come to fruition least often, that is who needs to turn into a tutor for the part of the combo that is just going to work. I'm also generally, I'm not a massive fan of, like, I'm even more of a fan of doing the Ashnod's altar lines than I am of doing like hardened scales. Like, God, it's rough. Like, I would much rather for one green worldly tutor or even like Anafenza, right? Because Anafenza, I think, turns on the undying loop. I don't think it turns on the persist loop, but it should turn on. Where's the thing that comes back with a minus? But yeah, kitchen finks, because if it comes in and then it bolsters and then it comes in with the right. So there's things we could do that will work better, and we have pieces where it's like, oh well, if I just put one more layer on this Jenga tower, I can reach even closer to God. And that is true. Or we could just have the Jenga piece Seeker. And Finale of Devastation, if we don't have it, which we might have it. I don't think I scrolled all the way to the bottom. No, we don't. Finale of Devastation is another really, really important piece for the combo outlet, because it becomes something that, can Eternal Witness grab this? Yeah, like I think we're you did cook, but I think you doing a little too much, and we haven't considered the simple like, well, if I have infinite mana and 3 creatures, what if I just pay infinitely into Finale of Devastation and I finale Craterhoof out? Do we have is there an emotional yuck to that combo, or is that just a we got deep in our bag? I do think Blood Artist could just be Sephiroth and is probably better, especially if we have Plaguecrafter in the deck. Even though that makes it, Blood Artist is 1, Sephiroth, or Blood Artist is 2, Sephiroth is 3, whatever. But is having it flip into an emblem, being able to start the sack just when it enters, all of that is really, really good. So I think Blood Artist at minimum becomes Sephiroth. Yeah, but I think we looked at all of the ways we could produce mana through sacking and went, okay, that's how we win, which it's definitely a way we can win. I love Craterhoof, but it's more than 3 CMC. That doesn't matter. And or Graveyard, bestie. Like, because the world we live in is not, oh, we have to be able to hit it with. Yeah, we also don't even need hoof. Like, Broodmoth puts flying counters on everything. Like, we're now missing we're missing the forest for the big giant rhino in the middle of the forest. This card goes in simply because it goes from infinite mana directly to I win. Like, you go from I have infinite green mana to I kill you. Because we go infinite mana, dump it. We might have to get Luminous Broodmoth depending on the board. But anybody you can swing into, or if you just get a wide board. How many creatures do we fucking have? 36. I don't know how many creatures we need per person, but if you've either put out Broodmoth, or if you just have one more attacker than they have blockers, this just becomes I have infinite money, which means I can buy infinite dead bodies. And then it's just snap, game over, and it's much simpler and much less interruptible than this like 8-step program to make them go to a non-consensual blood drive. But why are we using Craterhoof if we can make infinite mana and loop cheap creatures infinitely? Isn't it better to loop a Pinger, Cough, Bowmaster? I mean, Craterhoof is just easy, basically. Like Craterhoof in the version I played, Craterhoof is just there as a target, and even if they like at some point, let's say they're able to interrupt us, they're able to blow out the sack outlet, and then we can't keep going. They either have to do that while we're making the mana, which they probably should, but there's less moving parts in going, I have infinite mana, therefore I have one spell that leads to you being dead, versus I have infinite mana, which means via infinite activations, I go through my whole deck, which means via infinitely more activations, I loop this one creature through. Like, moving pieces aren't bad in a vacuum, but generally, if you can get a win with fewer moving pieces, good, you want. Particularly if it only requires the commitment of one card. We don't even need Craterhoof for this card to work. We just have to flop out dipshits, and then it becomes, like, at minimum, a superior option to Living Death. If there's some type of, like, deep shadow cookery going on, Sudsball, we're not even arguing for Craterhoof right now. We're just arguing for Finale. We're just arguing for a good tutor that can hit Broodmoth out of the graveyard if we haven't hit Ewit, or convert infinite mana into infinite death. Like, Craterhoof is focusing on the Craterhoof part of it is totally superfluous to why don't we have Go-Go Gadget find Dino, and then we turn it into anything we want. And then, I don't know. This seems like a trauma response, quite frankly. Hoof Disenjoyer. I think the land base is, God, I barely want to recommend this. You could cut lands. I don't think it's totally necessary. I think... Oatmeal, this is a very good rendition of your first combo deck. This works. A lot of the main lines for infinite mana are there. You have things that convert to a win con. Oh, Elixir's there to protect Graveyard Exile? Yeah, sure. It could happen. Really the only thing that I think has to be done differently is this is like... Oh, it's reminding me of something in high school. Like, you know when people would do way too goddamn much for school projects? That's what's happening. These situations aren't wrong, or the lines aren't wrong. And I do want to point out it's much better than the Damia deck. Much cleaner than the Damia deck. But there's a couple choices we made where we said, okay, how do I make sure this combo happens? And I have this A+ combo fuel. I will put in B- combo fuel that relates to the A+ combo fuel. When we still had things left on the cutting room floor that were cards that said, go get the A+ combo fuel. And that is a very slight change, but I do think for bracket 4, it's a change worth making until there's one of these cards that we're looking in the eye and saying, like, I love you more than life itself. If you love Felithar, Dawn of the Abzan more than life itself, go off. Otherwise, I want a card whose text is this card turns into Anafenza next turn. Alec, man, it's not like the Shiko pile from April because these combos are good. You might be able to use this for something. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I really like Warden of the Grove. I like anything that says when non-token thing enters, get counter, because that means that because that's good for all of our persist combos. Uh, I mean, 6 you could probably afford running just as a like this is a incredible redundancy piece that we probably want instead of bug 15A. Like honestly, fuck Ramanop Excavator. If we're getting lands out of our graveyard, we want them out of our graveyard because Tayam's comboing off. Uh, Smile, there is a queue for Decros. It's a limited stock sale we do on Ko-Fi at the beginning of every month. So we are sold out for this month. Avacyn's Pilgrim's probably correct. Elves of Deep Shadow is probably correct. You need fuckloads of mana. All right, so for you need to slow down. This this is fucked up and hateful. I think it's right, but I do understand the smell. And so Drannith Magistrate, I would kind of say I can understand how that is over the line of CEDH because this is just like I'm going to lock you motherfuckers up. Eidolon of Rhetoric type stuff I think is really good for this deck. You lose to anybody who can cast more spells than you. At bracket 4, that's most decks. That's not even like I'm examining the meta and making a choice. That is I am examining what everybody but me is probably going to do. So it's not, oh, what a, this is a targeted deep blue. Deep blue is the wrong analogy. But this is a targeted thought through hit piece versus I'm going to go on a hike. I'm going to put on mosquito repellent before I go on the hike. And that's what I think Eidolon of Rhetoric is for these bracket 4 decks. Same goes for Ranger Captain. Holy fuck, we have at least a couple hits from that. I don't think we need Spore Frog. Don't think we need Tomek. I don't think we need this. I think if we're losing to damage, then it's like, we're not comboing fast enough. But like Spirit of the Labyrinth is great. Eidolon of Rhetoric is great. Even fucking... Hell yeah, baby. Oh wait, that's red. Fuck! No! But if we look at what our deck wants to do, we basically always want to cast one spell a turn and then activate abilities over and over and over again. And so to have things that say, all right, I'm going to fuck up anybody who's trying to cast a ton of spells a turn, who cares? Winota is very realistic combat damage death. However, we should be comboing faster than Winota can kill us. Tayam specifically. A lot of Winota stacks is like unless they hit Cursed Totem, like they're probably flipping out a lot of the same stacks pieces that we are, and these don't really stop us. Like Tayam combos out from underneath Winota much more easily than something like Rogsai or something like Timna Krom. It doesn't mean that Winota can't kill us, and like if Winota gets the God Hand, yeah, sure, we fucking lose. But we're less worried about a different stacks player. Yes, Cursed Totem, Grafdigger's Cage, that is the ultimate fear. But they have a, lower density of those than other things, and we just have to hope they can't mull to them. But we're getting away from the point, which is I don't think we have to sweat combat damage. If we are losing to combat damage, that is a sign that the deck is not comboing quickly enough. So let me look at this. Makes me sad. Makes me sad. Yes. Sure. Sure. Now I'm happy. Look at that. Look at me getting rid of all the things that make me unhappy. Even this is not a tremendous hand because it doesn't like really get us going, but it. All right, I'm going to crack a Marsh Flats for Bountiful Promenade. Look at that. That's a cute card. I play Blood Artist. Everybody shits their pants. Unfortunately, I don't have any creatures on board. There we go. All right, we can get this Fabricator out, but I'm fucking... Yeah, we do this. We grasp with fate some problematic shit. Because it's turn 3 in a bracket 4 game. Some problematic shit is happening. Turn 4, we stick Tayam, and we hope to God that nobody removes the 3/3. See, this makes me sad. So I'm going to draw a different card. Hell yeah. We win. I wish I remembered enough of the combo lines. Oh, we need one more mana to win. So we Talon Gates. You now have this guy in your deck, or would this piece be reasonable for the persist line? But I think we get Kitchen Finks is one of them. But if we do Kitchen Finks, we only get a 1 mana hit on the other one. Oh yeah, Vizier. Thank you. Who's the Vizier though? Oh, Vizier of Remedies. Yeah. The Vizier of Remedies, and then the one that made me sad because I missed the combo line. And we get Devoted Druid out. And then this is a situation where I think like any of these make me sad cards. 1,000-Year Elixir, baby. We already have Tyvar in the deck because we want to activate things with haste, and now we're putting the point of realistically, we should win the game. We should. We have the pieces of infinite mana. We already lively dirged. But we have the pieces of infinite mana, and we have a drain piece. But we don't have haste. Instead, we have Living Death and Oversold Cemetery. So this is one of those pivotal situations where we traded out A-team support for B-team members. And even if we're not on CEDH, we want to kill everything that is not A-team. Doesn't matter because God loves you more than he loves me. So we go Phyrexian Altar. Oh, we don't even need a Phyrexian Altar. What the fuck am I talking about? I spin Devoted Druid like a Beyblade and mill my library until the Blood Artist thing happens. And then we win. Hell yeah. And we just had to cycle 2 cards that I didn't like. And then, like, oh my god, if this was a fucking Worldly Tutor, if we could Worldly Tutor instead, Metal Melee, how is this not bracket 5? Because realistically, every game, it goes Forest, Pass, Rogsai, you won. Nice. But bracket 4 and bracket 5 are not differences of power. They're differences of meta appreciation. Like if you have a bracket 4 deck, it should be as powerful. Or let me be more precise with my language. If you have a bracket 4 deck, the combos you are doing should be as fast and as effective at ending the game as a bracket 5 deck. Or maybe not should be, but they are allowed to be. They are encouraged to be. The difference between 4 and 5 is 4 is like, this deck is in a vacuum. 5 is, I am preparing for this deck to play against Tim Necrom. I am preparing for this deck to play against Ral Monsoon Mage. I'm preparing for Vivi. I'm preparing for Kefka. If you are building the deck and you're like, I'm just preparing for what this deck is going to do, it's bracket 4. If you are preparing for the 5 most popular commanders you might see, it's CEDH. And so even this deck, I think, like, this is the poster child of, please turn me into Worldly Tutor. Please turn me into Anafenza. Retribution of the Ancients I'm kind of waffling on because I like the cookery. Like, I like, hey, I'm going to use this mana and I'm going to use these counters to kill a guy. I feel like if we have enough counters to do this, we should just be comboing no matter what. Glass cannoning on turn 2 to 3 in bracket 5 is a ton of fun, though. Screw your meta. I mean, that's just Rogsai, which is meta. Interesting how you say screw the meta despite being one of the kings of the meta. Which is, I turbo combo. I am not opening that link. Oh, I thought it was from the same person. Jimrat, the deck roasts are done via Ko-Fi, so it is not as simple as I play mono green. I mean, yeah, fucking same shit. One of my good friends plays Yisan, but playing turbo doesn't mean you're not playing meta. Does Retribution remove pieces that would prevent comboing? I'm guessing mostly not. I doubt it. The the only thing a Retribution could hit that I would feel good about is there's that new fucking Stax bird. It's like a 3-drop that prevents activated abilities of artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers. That's the only thing Retribution of the Ancients could blow up that I would be. Yeah, Clarion Conqueror. Oh, hi, baby. What's up? What's going wrong?
Nothing. Missed the ship time.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Ah. Will they be open tomorrow?
I'm going to send them.
Oh, okay. Yes, Hunter, we do schedule them. The fucking bird that I hate. Yeah. There's so Oatmeal, closing thoughts. I like this. I think this is a good actualization of what it is. I think there are a couple instances where we had the Damia problem of like, but what do I do if I don't get my best piece? And your brain went, what is the next best thing I can do? Versus what you should be doing at bracket 4, which is, what if I cheated at Magic and drew the best thing anyway? What if like bracket 4 and above, we're all Yugi Moto. Your deck should have as much Yugi Moto Destiny draw, the right thing is on top of my deck, as you can fit in without blowing yourself out. But I do like it. You're playing the archetype I like the most. Butchering it a little bit, but you know. But I think everything in it works. I just think there's a few things that don't work quite as well, and we want to kill them for things that work super well. Not serious. Can you explain LED saw underworld combo? I don't know what you mean by LED. Well, okay. Hold on. We'll go into a playtest. I'll make these tokens. I will do my best to. I have not executed it, so forgive me if I fuck it up, but I'm not even going to look at chat. So if you're trying to help, don't worry, you can't. So here's our Lion's Eye Diamond. And not serious, you may have to come to Twitch to see the full screen. We have Underworld Breach. The one I've seen executed over and over and over is doing LED Breach and then a Wheel of Fortune. That one is super fucking simple. That is like bread and butter of a couple things. Now, if we were doing Saw in Half, I'm going to assume that that is a Hoarding Broodlord combo. And that's going to have a couple prerequisites. Right, I'm making the tokens, I'm not searching my library. And I think it has to involve wheeling at some point. But again, I'm not like crazy familiar. So we have Hoarding Broodlord, Underworld Breach, Saw in Half. So sawing Broodlord in half is a very common combo, but the most common Lion's Eye Diamond combo is I have Underworld Breach, I have Lion's Eye Diamond, I have Wheel of Fortune. Great. What you do is, after you get Underworld Breach, you have these two cards on the field. I dump my hand to Lion's Eye Diamond. This makes me 3 mana. Makes me 3 red mana. I exile 3 cards from my graveyard and spend the 3 red mana to cast Wheel of Fortune. I draw 7 new cards. I exile 3 cards from my graveyard to cast Lion's Eye Diamond. This has netted me 1 card in grave, and now I'm at the same starting position. I crack Lion's Eye Diamond to add the 3 red mana. I discard this hand. I exile 3 of them, cast Wheel of Fortune, draw 7 new cards. And then you rinse and repeat, and this allows you to cast the wheel as many times as you want. Your graveyard will slowly but surely get a little bit more full. Typically what this is terminating in is you are looking for the card Brain Freeze. And so eventually Brain Freeze will be in your graveyard. Your storm count is going to be high because you have cast Lion's Eye Diamond and you have cast Wheel of Fortune a ton of times. Once your storm count is high enough to mill other players out, you can use Lion's Eye Diamond mana to cast Brain Freeze and mill other people out, or mill yourself out and then resolve a Thassa's Oracle out of your graveyard with Underworld Breach by exiling all of the cards that you have wheeled and or milled. Yes, as soon as you hit Brain Freeze, you stop wheeling, basically. Because the more you wheel, every time you wheel, you give everybody else a fresh 7, and maybe they get something that can interrupt you. They probably can't, but in CEDH, anything is possible. So you go till you hit Brain Freeze. You can mill yourself out, and then you can just keep looping Lion's Eye Diamond by exiling the deck that you milled, and you can either Jack Storm up infinitely high, not infinitely high, you can Jack Storm up non-deterministically high, and then Brain Freeze other people, or if you get your deck empty, you just go, okay, I play Thassa's Oracle out of my graveyard. My library is empty. I win. And that's the combo. So yeah, like breach plus LED, something bad is going to happen. Something bad is going to happen. All right, we're gonna hit the manual ad break, and then Dale, time for you. All right, I'm gonna get up and use the bathroom again. I've been hydrating like a motherfucker to fight this headache, so I'll be right back. Hey, you're good, Chris. Don't worry. We're back, everybody. Neko, this deck was pretty good. There was just a couple situations where I was like, why the fuck is this not a tutor? Okay, who did I... Call for it's Dale over on YouTube. This is a spooky deck. Primer's in the Mox field. And we got another request for Foghorn Leghorn, so I'm going to pull it back out for y'all presently. Serum, we should only be going about one more hour. If anything, I can have you in front of Dale. Hey, Mall, fitness question. On Thursday, I had a HIIT session with my trainer, and I'm still feeling really sore going in today. Is there something I should be doing to improve my recovery, or is this normal for starting out? 1, it's normal. 2, there's a great many number of things you can do to improve your recovery. Number 1, walk more. Laying down still is not very good recovery, quite frankly. Some of the best recovery I have ever had from some of my most, I don't know why I'm doing the voice for this. Sorry. Some of the best recovery I have ever had from some of my hardest training sessions is really, really easy biking or really, really easy walking. If you have been blasted in a session, it's very tempting to just lay down and be busted. And you might have to do that for some time. But you want lots of protein. You want lots of good quality sleep. You want lots of water. You want a healthy dose of creatine. And you want to move around gently. You satisfy those things, you will recover much more easily. For protein, I'm not going to full-heartedly recommend this for everybody all the time because it was a transient situation. Every year for the college crew team I was on, we had tryout week. Tryout week was not hazing in the real sense of the word, but hazing in the sense of they did everything way too hard to try to make people quit. So they wanted you to drop out during tryout week. And during tryout week, I would make sure I had 300 grams of protein a day. And the difference was tangible when I was overloading on protein. When I was overloading on protein versus not. I didn't have that much protein year round, but when you're like really going through it, it's better to have a little bit too much than a little bit too little. And that's whether you are like vegan, vegetarian, a meat eater, whatever. Get complete protein, get B12. It's better to have a little bit too much than a little bit too little when it comes to recovering from intense sessions. Normal to be sore. Get your movement, get your sleep, get your hydration. Take creatine. Creatine's really good and really safe and really well studied. I'm going to avoid continuing going down this rabbit hole. So, Serum, let's check in after this deck and we will plan what we do. Do you fuck with the BCAA? Oh, they're tasty, bro. I don't know if they help, but they taste good. Fuck. Dude, I had to stop myself. I was drinking those like Gatorade. I told myself they helped, and so I think not the purgatory effect, the placebo effect. Like the placebo effect definitely kicked in. I was sucking them down, man. I love them. All right, let's get Dale now. What seat position were you in crew? I was stroke when I rode in 8s, and then I rode the single. Okay. Alright, so this is spooky, allegedly. Miss Bumbleflower's loan service. 2,500. Oh, okay. Alt arts. Okay. So Miss Bumbleflower is just drip to the feet. Night ticks on fleek. My fault. But it's bunnies. So we're doing group hug. Everyone loves cards, everyone loves counters. Share them and remind people how chill and helpful you are. Steer their efforts until they're fighting each other. Profit whenever they do normal actions like casting spells and drawing cards. Use these proceeds to build a win con. If they get uppity, respond with counter spells, board wipes, and stacks. You know, general rabbit shit. The debt always comes due. Hell yeah. Okay, I believe in this. There's an $800 printing of Miss Bumbleflower? Cashing in. Real. Real. I hate you, but real. Damn, bro. I am devastated to say this shit almost certainly works, just looking at the win cons. You understand the assignment, for sure. Okay, let's see if you get there. Checking their ambitions. Who's texting me? A fake crypto scam. Beautiful. Checking their ambitions. A counterspell that draws cards. So this is gaslighting. It's like bad counterspell, but it's bad counterspell because aren't we so kooky and funny? Dream Fracture, but they get to draw a card. Yup. Yup. Genuinely don't know about this one. Genuinely don't know, but okay. Oh, it looks so cute for such a gross spell, but it is correct. Oh, I'm supposed to be in Foghorn Leghorn. The stork reminded me that I'm supposed to be doing the voice. What's up, Luke? Okay. Dale, this card is a stinky, stinky bitch. You are never escaping prison, but once you die in prison, the gates of heaven will open up to you. Because the number one mistake I've seen Bant group hug players make is they don't include the nozzle, the valve, to turn off the card draw spigot. I don't know what the fuck this does, but it looks like a counterspell, so I'm with it. Propaganda, okay. Pretty counterspell, Swords to Plowshares, Sunfall, okay. Oh, I hate that I'm gonna help. I hate that I'm not gonna tear you down, and that I'm just gonna help instead. Let's see the primer. Which will hopefully consider an improvement over the deck I submitted months ago that got a rating of 5 decks in a trench coat. Took your advice about not having spigots and focused the game almost exclusively on card draw and counters. I got rid of the Exodia Infinite. The deck feels more consistent, but I'm not sure if I got the right mixture of cards to follow the plan of give stuff, condition them to be nice to me, and then bend them over. I've hardly checked if cards from Final Fantasy might be good here, with the exception of 2 cards and reprints. Suggestions from there and in general are welcome, as well as how well the deck follows the plan of tricking the table into killing each other with the benefits I've given them. If additional context is needed, typical pod is Reese, Galta, Arcades, Finn, Yuriko. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. We get some 07s in chat for this man having to play against Yuriko on a regular basis with Miss Bumbleflower. Oh. Oh no. Oh. I feel for you in my heart. I feel for you in my heart, Dale. Oh, that's not right what they're doing to you. Dale. So we're gonna hook you up with 18 pieces of single target removal. Okay, that makes sense. We're not actually gonna do that, but I'm hoping that I can clip that later on. Yuriko's a new one. Okay. Healing Aggression. We've got Crown of Doom. Okay, that's cute. Target player other than Crown of Doom's owner gains control of it. Activate this ability only during your turn. Fire Main Commando, Kroos Defense Contractor, Orzhov Advocist, Sly Instigator. Okay. I like all these. I think this is... Now, I do want to say +2/+0 might not be enough. We're in a weird zone of... We're jingling keys, but we need the keys to be shiny enough. And for the keys to be shiny enough, the Galta and Mavrin player, they're going for this. Toot sweet. Immediately. If you really want to kick this shit off, it will be worse overall for the deck probably, because it's gonna verge on giving benefits that are too good. But I swear to God, man, if you introduce the initiative into this shit, they are swinging every time. You're going to get hit once, but as soon as the initiative passes off of you, ooh boy. Ooh boy. Monarchy too, if our deck is built to benefit off of other people drawing cards, then Monarchy could be a better call than the initiative. Investing in yourself. Hell yeah. Hell no, but I understand it. You gotta fight Yuriko. I'm gonna let you do some bullshit. I don't know jack about dungeons, TBH. Okay, so let's show you the initiative. So the thing we're worried about is you will need to be able to establish board control well before anybody gets to Throne of the Dead 3. The initiative is mostly bullshit. It's super whatever, unless you are either running through it infinitely, or if you have a creature deck and you get to Throne of the Dead 3, you reveal the top 10. You point at one, you say, actually, I have them now. They're hexproof and they have 3+1/+1 counters. It's very strong. The rest of the initiative is very okay, but because of Throne of the Dead 3, people are typically extremely unkind to allowing other people to hold the initiative. And so it's quite good if you think like, oh, they'll pass it around a few times. I'll be able to get it back and I'll be able to set up a propaganda soft lock. Because if you do that, initiative will win you the game. Wizard class is cute, but I think we're playing in the right level of cute. Don't like this. Not the effect, but I think we have... It's 2025. We have enough shit in the world that gives us no maximum hand size on top of other things that are useful to us. Like this could be just Cadecophile that's going to give us an alternate win con. I think we also already have 20-toed Toad. You already have Proph's Eidetic Memory. Like there's so much stuff where we get this effect and another good effect. Thought Vessel is a mana rock for sure, yeah. Investing in the table, cut a deal. Good. Let's expand on this. Okay. Okay, good. Your heart's in the right place. We're scheming. We're being a bitch. I want to expand on this and get a little bit into one player. Okay? You want to have secret liaison situations. And this is where the Final Fantasy tech is going to come in, not because of effect, but just because of alternate art, Dale. I spelled this wrong. Don't be like me. So making everybody happy is really, really positive. What's also really, really positive is being able to forge specific alliances. If we help symmetrically, it makes it really easy to cut it off symmetrically. But there's also times where like, okay, I want to draw some cards. I want to gaslight somebody. If I give a card to James, that motherfucker is going to untap and win. And so we do want some stuff. I really like this. Dacra Mystic. I hate that this is more of a glaze than a roast, but I'm going to do it. I like the sexy merfolk wizard. I like that we're revealing. I think that's good for politicking. I like that you can mill it if you want to. I like that we're drawing and discarding instead of it just being we're always going up on advantage. But I would like us to extend into how do I give one person advantage so that I can control the flow of the game. I am probably going to recommend Tempt with Discovery for sure. I'll say it. This is Bloomburrow's Buster Sword. This card is the Buster Sword of Bloomburrow. I think if you have a green deck and you have a bracket 2 green deck, you are dumb if you don't have this in there. You're wrong. You are wrong. Yeah, everybody gets one. All of my creatures come in with 4+1/+1 counters. This shit is gasolina. Pardon the phrase. So good on you. Now the money hurts. Okay, we got Cytoplast Manipulator. So I'm taking your good creature. I'm. Oh. Alright, alright. Psychosis Crawler, Scrawling Crawler, Will Breaker, very normal. Pet Card, Sanctuary. Okay. I'm worried that we're light here. I'm worried that we're a little light here. Return on investment. Consecrated Sphinx. I don't know if I'm a believer. This is again like, because we're putting our counters on one at a time, I feel like this is just hardened scales if we gave it too much catnip, although I do like the printing. Real as hell, sure. Hey brother, I get it. Alright, I understand you. I accept you, and I applaud you. I think this is actually really good. Maybe the only one I think, hey, that's our fucking goat. That's our fucking goat. That is our Final Fantasy goat right here. Tataru Teru. Is the accent stuck in your throat? I don't get the bit, lol. So, Bubbles, I'll break the accent to explain it. There is a video series I have done that is not. I haven't done nearly as many as I have for the Commander Roasting, but I did a thing called Malltown Magic Academy where I did videos where I gave like actual advice. They did quite well. Many of them did better than my Commander Roast did. And so when I did those videos, I did them in a very bad Benoit Blanc accent. And so when people commission the roasts, I have an option for, do you want me to do the Benoit Blanc accent? I said. All right, not to get too CEDH pilled on you, but I'm going to second what Memo said, and Runic Armasaur in the context of your pod is a little bit ridiculous. It's a good card in general. I think we can probably cut it for something else. Samurai, get ready for a game. Oh, we're bracket 4? Oh, I take it all back. Okay, hold on. Get Wizard Class the fuck out of here. Get Runic Armasaur the fuck out of here. Oh, we gotta rip some ass in here. Fuck this guy. Oh no. Oh no. I'm kidding, of course. So Dale, come talk to me about where the tutors are at. I realize we have a lot of card draw on the deck, but I feel like there's a couple. I'm particularly thinking about when it comes time to make the money hurt. I'm not talking about like, oh, we need the best tutors ever. But if we're in the zone of I can run as many game changes as I like, that's why I asked if I should bump it up to scary. Real. I think. These are already here. Should I add Thoracle? Okay, Thoracle is not the scary we want to be, I don't think. But in a deck like this, I think if we already have such a high density of really good cards, if the table is all playing bracket 4, we should meet them where they are at. And what we want is either Worldly Tutor, or we even just want Solve the Equation. Because what we need to have more fine-tuned control over the gatekeeping. We have to be able to go, okay, enough is enough. I gotta go find Dismiss into Dream, or I'm gonna get hosed here. I have to go find, or this is a really good time to go find Will Breaker. This is a really good I need Emrakul's Messenger to begin getting chump blockers. How many tutors would you recommend? Fucking all of them. Fucking all of them. It depends how scary you want scary to be. Because the green tutor suite is plentiful and very good. You have a lot of creatures in this deck. You would get a lot of use out of things like Chord of Calling. You would get a lot of use out of things like Green Sun, Zenith, and if nothing else, these would be, okay, it's time for Emrakul's Messenger. Okay, it's time for Jol Rael. Okay, maybe it's time for Consecrated Sphinx. It depends on how your table feels about tutors. Because Hidemi-chan, I do understand the feeling of ickiness, but I would ask you if that extends to Rhystic Study. Because I often feel like the number of cards that a Rhystic Study draws also defeats the purpose of playing Singleton. Like if I draw 20 cards over a couple turn rotations, it's like, okay, yeah, I didn't tutor, but I found my shit, dog. What about Volatile Stormdrake? Ooh, I like that. Ooh. Puff, puff, pass, baby. Puff, puff, pass. Dale, do you want to know a funny thing about Volatile Stormdrake? Do you want to know a very funny thing? If you play this and you swap it with Arcades, you will have enough energy to keep the Arcades. I mean, Hidemi, the thing is, people might try to, but people are generally taking so many game actions at bracket 4 that the play either slows way down or you get into a prisoner's dilemma situation where one person stops paying the taxes, and they usually stop paying their taxes to go for the win. And so now the other people are like, well, we can't keep paying our taxes because if we do, Joey might just fucking win. Sir Gregarious, I am inclined to agree with you. We are already in bracket 4. We're already in bracket 4. So Dale, that's what I would feel the strongest about is having in a creature heavy deck, I would at least have the green creature tutors. So Chord of Calling, Green Sun, Zenith, Green Sun, Senile. And I think that will help any potential awkwardness with activating the game plan. Because right now you're going like, okay, I gotta stick some card draw. Like, really just look at how many different sections we have tagged. If you want to know how much your deck would benefit from having tutors in it, look at how many different tags you have. If you're tagging stuff for funny reasons, this won't work. But if you are tagging things I'm losing the accent a little bit, but if you're tagging things in your deck based on their purpose and you have like 6 or more distinct goals of stuff in your deck, you would benefit a lot from tutors. If you look at a green Stompy deck, their 2 tags are like, these are things that ramp and these are things I ramp into. They can tutor, but they don't need them as much. I do think your tags are on the funny side. These do feel purposeful. It does feel like you have this many different jobs going on. And when you have this many different jobs going on, you need a shift manager. Green Sun Zenith is your Taco Bell manager. So I think it would help a lot. Fragtor, I'm sorry to tell you, you are high as shit, brother. You are greening out right now. I don't know what you took, but you took way too goddamn much. Oh, I think this would be good. I think this would be relatively useful for again expanding that to I want to have a partnership with one person in particular, and I want them to not kick me in the dick. I think we got enough lands. Probably, okay. Before we go to the playtest, what I think out of hand, weakest parts of the deck, Wizard class, Runic Armasaur, only in the context of your pod, Dublin season, Spellbook, Preordain, Crown of Doom, and I'll leave it there. Those 6. I don't think they're totally wrong, but I think those are where, if we're going to make cuts or changes, that's where we're going to make them. Let's see how we go. We win! Everybody, round of applause for Dale, please. We won a game of Commander. It was a hard-fought battle, but thanks to our Lord God in heaven, by which I do mean Yugimoto, we have started the game with a ramp piece and Rhystic Study. It was a difficult battle. I didn't know if we were going to make it, but Lord have mercy if we didn't. Alright, so I fabled passage for fucking island. Who cares? Next turn, I Coiling Oracle. I reveal. It goes to hand. Next turn, I ask politely to win the game. I'll say I draw 1 card per opponent's turn. They're looking at me funny right now. We stuck Rhystic Study on turn 3. They're looking at me very funny, but I tell them, don't worry. This is group hug. I'm going to play my win con. We are hit fiercely with hammers. So let's see. We probably play... I think we just bumble on them. We just bumble on them. And now we do Emrakul's Messenger. We get a counter on this dipshit. We play Tataru Taru. This is going to be the second time it resolves. We draw 2 cards. We get an Eldrazi spawn. We draw another card from Tataru. Somebody else draws a card. We get a tapped treasure. Turn 5, by the way. I don't think we have a way to give this guy haste. So we're not going to be able to sneak a win. But we are just blowing this one out of the fucking water. And we did Tataru Taru. I'll stick a Soul Ring. And then I'm going to keep 1 board wipe. I'm going to get rid of some lands. I like Cytoplast. Honestly, fuck these people. I'm not giving them cards. I'm the Oppenheimer, you dumb son of a bitch. We're probably going to draw a million cards. So I draw 3. I'll play a card. I'll play Profs. I'll put a counter on maybe Taru. Profs will go. Am I going to dump this man? I'll dump some mana into Ghostly Prison. That'll draw me 2. The Profs is going to put a million fucking counters on something. I'll probably rip a Fact of Fiction, which is going to be a bird, a dork, a wizard class. Oh, look, 2 of the cards we hate. I don't really think this pile matters. I think at this point we're just kind of going like, I'm going to build up a massive bird. And Dale, actually, I think this is a good example of why I think the tutors would be really powerful for you. Because in this situation, it's a bracket 4 game. It's meant to be fucking spicy. We're not really getting close to lethal despite cheating at Magic a little bit. We have a ton of mana. We got a ton of cards from Rhystic. And the only reason we haven't converted is because we don't have our glorious queen, Jolrael. If we had her in hand at any point, oh my god, this is just like, okay, you solve this problem or I am going to kill you turn 7, turn 8. Which is, you should be able to push the pressure that quickly. Hey, thank you, Kit Kat. I'm having a good one. I hope you're having a good day as well. And so this is really where I think being able to draw into a Worldly Tutor, being able to draw into a Green Sun Zenith, it would be fabulous for making sure that when it's time for you to be the bad guy, you can be a super villain instead of just a regular villain. Because one thing that will make a deck fall flat immediately is they get all the resources. They get the Rhystic Studies, they get the Tataru Tarus, they get the ramp, they get the counters, and then they can't quite finish it off. And so it feels like they're holding you hostage, even though you're doing your best. We're playing this deck to the limits of its ability. We are, well, we're not sequencing well because it's a stream, but we're playing shit that converts to damage. We're putting counters on our stuff. We're using our cards responsibly, and still, it takes us a while because we can't go and get the gas pieces when we need them. And so, of those 6 cards that I called out as cuttable, I would highly recommend at least, god damn, I would highly recommend at least 3 of them becoming the tutor package of Worldly Tutor, Green Sun Zenith, and Finale of Devastation. Finale of Devastation is one of my favorite cards for even if we don't ever go infinite on mana. This just becomes, oh hey look, I hit a bunch of land drops, I got some treasures off of Tataru Taru, and I got some dumbasses over here. Finale of Devastation, X equals 10. Maybe I don't win the game, but I damn near do. But I like what you've done with the place, Dale. You're living a lot better than you were a few months ago. And I don't really think any one thing is missing, but I think Group Hug, very hard to pull off at high levels of power because the timings are so tight on I have to swap from giving a back rub to cutting their balls off, to getting dressed for war, to giving somebody else a back rub, to saddling up my crater hoof, to lying to people about the back rubs I'm going to give them. It's complicated. And the ways to make it simple is to stare a dinosaur right in the taint and let them handle it. So Dale, I think you're really I'm going to place you at the same height as Furious Oatmeal. I just want to give the lateral distance. But I think you got it cooking here. I think the deck is about its business. There are some hot openings. There are some hot openings that will just make you the bad guy from the beginning, because that's how Rhystic Study goes. But I think for the most part, you've got the pieces. We just got to make sure the pieces come into your hand more often. If you want to begin seriously powering it up, like full scary, the other tutors that will be really good for you are Intuition. Since this is 3 mana, 3 cards, one of them can go to the graveyard and you don't give a singular fuck. Not because you have a graveyard combo, but because if you pick the 3 best things out of the deck, one of them going to the graveyard won't make you that sad. So Dale, I hope you enjoyed and got some useful feedback, or at least exhaled heavily through your nose. We're going to hit the manual ad break, and then Sarim, if we start you in 3 minutes, are you good, or do we need to reschedule? Mal, can you review a hair talk at some point? Broken American, I promise you I can. I promise you I can. Every commander that has ever been requested on my videos is going to get reviewed. It's literally just a matter of time. I am immensely grateful to be a busy guy now. So it might take a minute, but I will get there. Absolutely, Sarum. I am sorry that we could not fit you in today. Please reach out on Discord or email, and I will. I think upcoming days that are less busy is Monday. Monday and the 30th are absolutely no problem. We can schedule you there right now. Other days, reach out to me and we will pick a day and like a beginning or end of stream that will fit better. All right, let me hit this ad break. I'll be right back, everybody. And Eric Baum, prepare thyself. All right, beautiful. Thank you all for your patience. While we're coming to the end of the ad break, I actually do want to have sort of mini content poll because recently I've been looking at not really my analytics because I check my analytics frequently enough. I've been looking back at my patterns over the last couple months, and the past couple days I've been trying to post what I call like spam content more. And so that's basically all the stuff that hasn't been deck roasts the last couple days. And so do we like that and want more of it? Because I'm trying to figure out how do I, like, even though the growth has only gone up, it certainly feels like it was better when I was posting more often. And I think I've become a little bit too. I'm trying to find a balance between posting stuff I am posting stuff I'm proud of and not being so much of a perfectionist that I just don't upload often enough, because I tried to find that balance before and it just became like oh well, now I post twice a week, and it didn't even feel like the posts were that much better. I don't really like the entire section of Commander creators who yap while wearing different hats and voices, but it probably makes sense for your growth. Okay. What goes in a proper primer for a deck review? Jester, anything that will set my expectation about what you want the deck to be. Like the bet for a roast specifically, your primer should include, this is if I have any arbitrary restrictions I am putting on myself, tell me those. If you have, here are 5 pet cards that must be in the deck no matter what, tell me then. I will still make fun of them, But that way we don't get into like a 10-minute back and forth about me telling you to cut a card where you're like, but I can't cut it. It's my child. So if we have pet cards that we're like, please, 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 I know they're bad. Please help me find a way to play them. I can work with that. If you're like, oh, this deck, I'm aware this deck doesn't have a lot of personality. I would like it to have more personality. Or like, I think this deck is all personality. I'd like it to work better. If your deck has like very specific combos or niche rules interactions that I may not be aware of, tell me that as well, because there's definitely cards where I'm like, hey, what the absolute fuck is this card doing in here? And then it's like the second piece of your infinite. I don't know every card in the game. Hellcat, I did miss it. Hold on. What music do you like, boss? I enjoy some Red Hot Chili Peppers. Let me. Let's see if I'm gonna update. There's a lot of music that I like. Let's put it that way. The only genre I don't really listen to broadly is I don't listen to a lot of country. But I like oh, here we go. Uh I have I I have detoxed from listening to Blueberry Fago for sure. What what artists have I replaced Blueberry Fago with? Alex Warren is definitely on some like white boy of the week feel good songs. So that's been coming up recently. Yeah, like Gorbash, I have very limited exposure to good country. I have mostly exposure to a lot of like stadium country. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Srillik. Or Krillik, however you prefer that pronounced. Bad Pandas, the decks picked for the roasting are Ko-Fi commissions primarily. And then Dragon, thank you for that Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Not a professional or anything, but I've seen a lot of people putting shorts of important parts of videos to gain attention of new people, as we're all addicted to shorts, be it TikTok or YouTube now. It could work and you can do more of the content you want. That is true. I need to basically I need to hire somebody to clip my streams. Because otherwise I spend just as much time trying to find, like most people who make stuff, I am extremely critical of the stuff that I make. When I watch my Twitch streams back, see, like when I hear that, watching this stream back later, I'm gonna be mad as fuck. And so when my mannerisms are not entertaining, when the cadence of my voice is not nice, when the intonation of my voice is not nice, I immediately go like, well, I can't fucking clip this. It sounds bad. And so that is something that I want to do, but it's not something where I want to be investing a ton of my personal time into going back and trying to clip the streams, because that time could just be spent writing a roast. I could spend it doing a skit, which is a thing I will have more control over the production quality of. It's a thing people generally find to be more funny. Like a lot of my skits generally just do well. Do you make notes while streaming about the time code of good zingers you make? Nope, I remind myself to do that before every stream, and then I don't do it. Have you considered lying, re-recording your voice, and slamming the video out? That's a good idea. Wait a goddamn minute. Memo, no. Do you hold on, someone else said someone is there any kinds of decks you don't feel you could help with slash roast? Shade, yes. The type of deck that I am least able to roast is a deck where you like it having incredibly high variance. The types of advice I am giving are almost always geared to I like a deck where I am extremely confident that it's going to work a bit. It doesn't have to always win, it doesn't have to always combo, but when I'm laying out what I want my decks to do, and when I'm making fun of and giving advice to you on building your decks, it's always from the perspective of I want to be very confident this deck will make me happy somehow every game. Maybe it won't do the big amazing thing, but it will do one thing that will make me smile. And some people have sent in decks where they're like, half the time, this will just fucking fail totally. And I'm fine with that. I am happy for you. I do not understand you. I deeply, deeply want your brain in a jar to study. So those decks where, oh, this is highly variable, there's like a really good combo win, and then also I could land pass for 7 turns, and that's how I want it. Those decks I cannot help you with. I can maybe unravel why do you feel like this is a good thing, but if you're like, yes, that gives me joy it gives me joy to not be able to politic, it gives me joy to not be able to interact and to have no idea whether I'm going to win turn 2 or lose turn 6 after having done nothing, I can't help that. I have tried. Those roasts have consistently felt the worst for me. And although the roasties have not sent in negative feedback, it's always felt like the ones that resonate the least with the person getting the roast. But there's plenty of decks that are like that where people don't want them like that. And so if you don't want the deck to be like that, and it's how do we change a deck that has started like that, hell yeah. Hell fucking yeah. Probably also just good CEDH decks. What are you supposed to say? That's another one. That was the one I brought up when people first asked me about it, was like, yeah, if you send in the Rogsai Classic, I have extremely little to make fun of you for. If you have a fringe CEDH deck that like you have brewed yourself, those I have had some success with, but the cards you're picking have to have enough personality for me to make fun of you for it instead of just being like, oh fuck yeah, Vampiric Tutor? That sure can tutor some cards, King. See you on the skateboarding track. I don't think that's what it's called. What's your favorite Hozier song? Too Sweet, hands down. Too Sweet, no question, no qualms. Yeah, Stabas, that is the correct idea. I should be doing that. Okay. Eric Baum, I'm going to ask for a sound off that you are here and ready, and then we will begin your roast. Until then, Baked Mistakes is asking, any particular opinions on Goad decks? I just built the Kalma deck and I like it, but something just feels off with it. I'm awful at building decks though, TBH. I like Goad. The thing to understand about Goad is that it is a control strategy. That's weird for a lot of people to navigate. But when you Goad stuff, it's all about limiting your opponent's options, and you have to build around your win conditions. You have to plan around I am a control player. It's not haha silly fun time, even though a lot of the goad situations can be funny. You're still forcing a lot of shit to happen against the will of the pod. And so if you know your pod hates control, goad is probably going to get old for them really quickly, and you have to either rotate decks or find ways to. All right, I looked up the commander and it pulled up this. And then Zoria, entirely non-magic related, but since you don't hear the game while playing Darkest Dungeon, you miss some cool lore, which is narrated when you go fight a boss. Would you like a quick rundown of what you missed, or would you not want to bother? I'm not going to worry about it. I appreciate you looking out for me, but I'm okay. Okay. Eric Baum's deck is silly. Played less than 20 commander games. Favorite deck so far. All my wins have been commander damage, where I pass to 2, a goaded player who kills the other, then I swing unblockably. Oh, God. Speak of the devil. I love how most auras can either go on Kaima. Oh! So Eric Baum's alt account asked that question. When going for the kill, or be used to goad opponents, which gets +1/+1 on Kaima and keeps me safe. Either goading threats, ordering value pieces to their death, or making brand new threats like giving someone's Karn the Betrayer flying, but the deck is sad without Kaima. Alright, my silly Kaima deck. Group Hug, where the goal is to pass out goads and board pieces to the right people while I either build Kaima up to get proper win cons from Plan B and Kaima's cookies. Plan is to make 1v1 with player removal and then one shot. Plan B is built around late game, needing to counter a specific strategy. Xenagos as fuck it, that's a lot of damage. Okay. King Bomb, first and foremost, this primer, I love it. I need us to align that you are a liar. Right? That's not derogatory. I think you're well aware with the group hug being in air quotes. I just want to make sure this is what we're telling other people to trick them, not how we conceptualize the deck. Yes? Good. I love you. So at the beginning of end step, goad each creature your opponents control that's enchanted by an aura you control. Put a counter on Kaima for each creature goaded this way. Dope. Okay. Almond cookies. We can goad stuff on non-creature spell. We can Kenriths. Whenever enchanted creature is blocked, you may have it deal damage equal to its power to target creature. If you do, enchanted creature deals no combat damage this turn. Lignify. Lignify these nuts. Excellent joke opportunity. Smoke Spirit's Aid. For each of up to X, make a red aura enchantment token named Smoke's Blessing. Oh, that's so fucking cool. What? That's so... Oh, I love that. Okay. I'm a little bit on this. Radiant Performer. This is... I see what you're doing here. That's so greedy, but Gruul might have the mana to do it. Trickster Elk. This is just another Kenrith. Kaima's Cookies. So this is stuff we're putting on Kaima. Plan B. Oh my god, plan B is fuck everything. I'm flipping the table and throwing a match on the remains. That's awesome. Alright, Xenagos is fine. Plan B, Tutor. Yeah, real. Problem solving. Yep. Okay, yep. So we're preventing counter spells. We're destroying enchantments. I mean, do we have the thing that Homeward Path or whatever? Oh no, because we already have control of them. So it wouldn't change anything. Yeah, we don't need that land. We do need the enchantment blow up, which is, oh, very awkward. Lure is great. Sharing is caring. So this is just like mad chump blockers. 36 lands is probably appropriate. Oh, it does my heart good to see 12 pieces of card draw on a Gruul motherfucker. It does me slightly less good to see one of them being harmonized. Tinkering's probably fine. Rishkar's expertise is probably correct. Oh, hey, look at, hey, we get enchantment cards. Oh, hell yeah, we get to Setessan Champion. I mean, that's the thing, Hellcat. Harmonize is terminally fine. If you, once we put Harmonize in, we are almost always a little, like, we're just a little sad. It's not like, oh my god, worst card ever, but it is just like, oh, oh, is it, that's all oh, is that all we got? Okay. Ramp. So Liar, first of all. The rest of these are real. Hmm. Let me think for a moment, because I actually like this. I like this commander enough to not relegate this roast to me being like, haha, Gruul player, enjoy your Elmer's glue. I used to have more of the Enchantress package, but man, they were useless when I was behind. Yeah, I believe that. We have a lot of tutors for Plan B. I think the problem I'm seeing right now is Plan B is basically just more control. I like Havoc Eater the most, only because Havoc Eater is probably going to be your biggest creature. But we have a lot of like, we are Gruul, and our late game creature package doesn't look that great. Does Bestow work here? I think it does because we have the Phoenix in here, minimum, right? I think that's the most awkward thing about the deck is I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, if we get the boar out and everything starts cooking, then we kill everybody. And if we don't get the boar out, we ramp a ton and we get 1/6/6. So I think especially with our other backup plan being Xenagos. Where's my guy? Like, I think this is the type of thing where, hey, game plan's going well. Boom. Nyxborn Hydra is now bestowed on something. Game's going bad. Fuck it. I have Nyxborn Hydra. And I Rishkar's expertise my Nyxborn Hydra. So let's see if there's other good ones. Or if, oh wow, these are quite bad. Boy howdy. Wow, these suck. I'd like to take that I'd like to take that criticism back, Eric. These cards fucking suck turbo ass. So I'll recall. I'll still call for Nyxborn Hydra. That one's quite good. The rest are in the dumpster where they belong. And so what? We're on 30 aura enchantments. Let me look at other Gruul auras. What I'm worried about is this seems like a truly horrendous build around. Like we are in a wizard battle with gods and demons and Warhammer 40k Marines, and you're going all in on the little piggy that couldn't. And so I kind of want to see if there's a way where we can make this a counterweight commander rather than an all-in commander. But if you want it to be an all-in commander, I will do my best. Let's look at all the good auras. So if we were doing Gruul Enchantress, and we just had the Enchantress package, would we be better off? I mean, I like this guy, but we can never put that on somebody else's thing. The lack of ability to bounce enchantments is probably what's fucking us. We have Rancor Badgers. That's an activated ability. That's not. Auras are fucking spells. God damn it. Do we have the sound of drums? We do. God, why did we teach the Gruul players control? Okay, so here's Eric what I'm coming around to. This is quite bad. Unsurprisingly. Gruul Group Hug is not one of the top 10 or probably even top 100 strategies in Magic the Gathering. I think the default ways to save this is to have better top end Gruul creatures. We have a lot of enchantments, we have some buff stuff. I think a member of the B team should be other animals. Because we already have lure effects in the deck. We have a lot of damage boosting effects in the deck. What we really want to have is other creatures where we can feel good about, like, hey, if we get to the 1v1 or the 2v2 or my commander's been shot a lot, do I feel good about casting this creature? Would the Elemental Wolf from the Bloomborough Precon that gives Cascade be good in this? I think we could do it. Is Confusing Licid. Well, it might be an okay pick if I spelled it right. Convulsing Licid. To make something unable to block. This is cute, what this is. I think the Licids are really fucking adorable. And they would give you a lot of game actions to take, but we don't actually get a benefit just from placing the enchantments on things. We get a benefit from ending our turn with enchantments on things. Like, this is just, you would put these in this deck because you fucking love Licids, not because Licids are a good pick for the deck. I think stuff that goes wider is much better than going bigger because we have enchantments. I feel the opposite because of that. Like I feel like we have good creature becomes great creature because I stick a value thing on it versus like an Avenger of Zendikar 1/1 becoming a 3/3 because I put shiny impetus on it feels fucking terrible. God, we could try to do bigger on the inside non-creature spells. Like what can we do with the problem is Gruul typically hates casting non-creature shit. I'm more so concerned that we get blown out by a removal spell in these late game scenarios. I mean, yes, but also that blows out Avenger of Zendikar too. Like we get a lot of chump blockers there, but our ability to win the game is just as fucked. Okay, so if we had a lot of big enchantments, Blazing Bomb could one day do something. Capricious Hellraiser is like a cutie that can get us one of our enchantments back. Deeproot Champion is okay. Enchantress could kind of work here, but it's basically just bad Setessan Champion. Can we Goblin Slide? Now we're okay. 17 Badgers, I have Goblin Slide up on Scryfall right now. We are 98% copium by body weight. If we are going to Goblin Slide, Storm Herald is better. I actually so Storm Herald becomes better. Isn't Young Peasy an instant or sorcery? If it's non-creature, we're no Young Peasy's instant or sorcery. Like that's the problem is we're in Gruul cast non-creature spells. So like Hessig Flame Breather does some damage. We can try to start recruiting the like Final Fantasy wizards. Oh, maybe Maniform Hellkite. Eric, did this make you smile? We can like turn our auras into more damage, but the thing is our auras aren't even fucking expensive. Like it's still tough. Like whatever we do, see, Gruul hates what we're doing. Our own colors. It's our own people trying to prevent what we're trying to play. We have seized the spotlight in the deck already. This is artifacts. Party Thrasher wouldn't be the worst piece of card advantage we could use. Look, it's not my fault they made the pig Gruul. Genuinely, like this is kind of what. Look at these little piggies. Look at these little piggies and their big bulky farmer. Like this is kind of what I'm thinking of for plan B, but we're not ever gonna fucking storm, which makes it a devastatingly bad plan B. And so ugh, ugh. I'm stuck between 18 different worlds and all of them hurt my head. Bandamo, they said they tried Wildseer before. Yeah, like we want to be Naya so fucking bad, dog. And maybe that's the answer is we have a Naya Enchantress deck where Kaima is just our favorite card in the deck. But if we want to do Gruul, what we can do is maybe this. How do you feel about scroll masturbation? Because I'm trying to figure out how do we do. Oh, that's the end. Oh Jesus. Oh my fucking god. Yeah, so like we have some creatures that are going to convert well for us if we cast non-creature spells. We have 18 creatures somehow. Who are the other creatures in this deck? There's these dipshits, which we need. We can make stuff uncounterable, which I can't even believe this is like a problem for you. Who's looking at the stuff you're casting and going, "Oh my god, I gotta stop it." We have Cetessan Champion. Oh, and then okay, so most of our creatures look like rampers. Some people hate Goad and countered my commander turn 3. Okay, so that makes me feel more strongly about better we need better value generators to put onto the table rather than trying to force this commander out as quickly as possible. Let me pour some sugar on you this way. Turn 3, goading fucking sucks. Nobody has anything worth goading. The times you really want to begin goading is like turn 5, turn 6, turn 7. Like you goad their bombs, you goad the big value engines. We all hate Esper Sentinel. We don't need to fucking goad Esper Sentinel that bad. And so what would probably feel better is rather than doubling down on like, oh, how do I make these enchantments, make a bunch of mana? We definitely need the card draw. But how do I ramp to my commander as quickly as possible? We want more things that we can either enchant with our own auras if other people have not dropped goadable, submissive and goadable creatures. Not this guy. Stuff that will make us chump blockers. Like I think you just want to go into the games with a mindset of I'm not casting Kaima until like turn 5, turn 6. I'm casting Kaima when I have enough mana to just untap, recast them. Oh yeah, this is the Naya dream, but unfortunately, Kaima can't be the commander. I keep spelling it wrong. It is weird that we didn't keep this guy. They're both from the same precon. Let the snake and the pig be lovers like they were meant to. Because if we just play this guy and then enchant anything, like I think we have to accept that goading as many creatures as possible probably can't be our plan A. Goad can be Goad can be the heart and soul of our game plan, but we're definitely going to have to come to terms with the fact that we are Gruul Enchantress, and Kaima's going to turn that into Goad when we want it to, but it's not. I'm dropping Kaima immediately, and we are starting this Goad party, because all that's going to happen is they're going to shoot the boar. Like, the first problem everybody plays gets answered in most commander games. Or sorry, the first problem the table plays gets answered. So you just can't be the first problem. It doesn't mean you can't play Kaima, but it means when somebody sits down and goes, "Oh fuck, I hate Goad. Honestly, I'm removing your commander on sight, dude. I don't care if it's not that powerful. I can't fucking stand it. when you goad my creatures. If you wait 2 extra turns and that motherfucker is staring down an Ansrag, that motherfucker is staring down a Chishiro, that motherfucker is staring down an enchanted Queen Bronhe who is turning all of your enchantments into like 4 damage to everybody, they're not going to care about Kaima. They're going to blow the removal, and then you can play Kaima, and then the goad can be how you pull yourself out of the fire. And that's where I think we should be. This, I think we have stared too long and too lovingly into the eyes of the pig, and we need to have the pig be... How do I frame this in such a way that your tiny, tiny gruel brain will accept it? Did you watch Shrek 2, Eric? We can get there, Eric, but I need an answer on the Shrek 2. But yes, I've seen Shrek 2. Kaima is the large gingerbread man. They come onto the board when the big music is playing. They are going to die such that the rest of your deck can win the game. They are going to have their moment, but they are not the main character, even if they are the commander. You can still enjoy the politics of giving out auras. It just means you actually have to politic. Because the thing is, if you give out auras with Kaima out, that's not politicking, because you're doing goad, which is control, which means you're just forcing them to do a thing. Now, that may resemble real world politics, but that's neither here nor there. With Kaima not on the field, you can absolutely still go, hey man, I can't help but notice you have a really good creature out. I'm pretty sure Tony's going to try to combo off this game. I don't have a good creature out yet. If I give your creature... let's pretend Demonic Ruckus was good. If I give your creature Demonic Ruckus, will you beat the shit out of Tony for me? Type shit, brother, thank you. And then later when they're like, okay, now that Tony's dead, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Now you go, actually, I think you're going to get Kyle. I play Kaima. So you still have space to politic with these auras, but it just means that the politicking is on you as a player. And then the rest of the deck is good things that can capitalize on casting non-creature spells. Or dumbass stupid things that can capitalize off of non-creature spells. But I think that's how we have to play it. Because if we lead with Kaima, people will see, oh, they're goad, they're control focused, they're going to shoot you because you're the only person who's resolved a big problem. If we wait for somebody else to resolve a big problem and we just kind of like fuck around with enchantments, we will fly under the radar and then we can become a big problem later on. And it can still be unique. It can still feel like a goad deck, but I just think you need to... I mean, it depends. Usually if there's a problem, I can go, hey, yeah, I have Kaima out, but I need someone to hit Kyle with this aura. You keep it safe when you're bird. I'm going to avoid digging too deep into the specifics of that so we don't lose the forest for the trees. I'm saying you can politic with Kaima now. I'm saying it will genuinely be easier if we stop forcing Kaima. Like, you will have more fun politicking. People will be more willing to politic with you if Kaima's not out. There are situations right now where I'm sure you can still politic and people are like, okay, yeah, all right, I won't crash out just because you put an aura on my bird. But there's a lot of room to politic where you're like, hey, listen, I have Queen Bronny. I want to swing with her. And, I have this Bear Umbra in hand. And God, I would just love to beat the fuck out of you. But I get where you're coming from. If you let me attack with Queen Brawny and don't kill her for like 2 turns, I'll give your guy this Bear Umbra. How do you feel about that? Like, that's the type of genie wish arms dealing I want you to be doing. And then turn 5, turn 6, when people are getting tense enough to think about breaking alliances, that is when you go, okay, Kaima's here, and actually I'm gonna need you to stand on that promise you made. And at that point, they have hopefully run out the removal on other threats. If they're still holding removal for Kaima at turn 6, I don't know. Let me talk to them. I need to speak to them. If it's turn 6, turn 7, and we're still holding back a fucking Swords to Plowshares for Kaima. Arya, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. I feel like I saw the impetuses in here. Some of my favorite auras kind of only work with Kaima, and I love how I can make fake problems to make people avoid Kaima. Like how I love giving a bird Latula's orders that is goated, becoming the artifact player's biggest problem. Thinking that this requires Kaima is the problem we have to solve. This does not require Kaima to be a fucking hilarious card. This does not require Kaima to give the artifact player a problem. If anything, the politicking is like only possible if you like there's such a big world where you just give this to them and go, "Hey, I think this player is kind of doing too much. Don't you agree?" And then they go, and then you play Latula's orders and they hit them anyway. Like, I agree with everything you're saying, except for the fact that they only work with Kaima on the board. They work as long as you are a gaslighter. And I think right now we're placing like all of the responsibility on Kaima to force these situations to happen, when all of them can happen if we just fucking lie. If we just fucking are nefarious. And so I think I both agree and disagree. Like, I totally agree. Yeah, 124, fuck that guy. When I say lie, I'm joking. Don't lie in your Commander games unless you have had a pre-game discussion where you all say we're cool with lying. That should always be an explicit thing that you talk about. But even in non-exaggeratory words, all of the things you like about Kaima are exactly as achievable as they already were if we actually politic instead of fake politic. Like, Keen Sense is an example of, yeah, this one only works with Kaima. I guess I'm too value focused if I want them to build towards a win con, and if I give the problem an aura with Kaima out, it's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to keep myself alive. If that is a wording that makes sense to you, sure. What I think the problem is that you are too focused on how can I trigger Kaima as many times as possible instead of thinking about how the deck actually wants to maneuver. Which is an understandable thing. It's what a lot of people do when they build commanders, but all the 100% of the problem with this deck is caused by going, how can I make this end step trigger become relevant as many times as possible? And we must break that. As soon as we break that connection, life can begin. And we can do ping stuff, we can make dragons, we can make goblins, we can recycle auras, we can play big fucking scary mole men who we put our auras on. Like the auras are also a way. We probably need better auras, frankly. Like if you drop a threat, you can politic with auras by going, hey, I know this guy's really scary. I'm going to give this other creature, maybe not Grim Reaper's sprint, but like, I'm going to give this other creature indomitable might. Pick who you want to deal with. And then you can bring Kaima in as an over the top option. Like you have a million ways to be tricky. You have a million ways to be like a little snake in the grass arms dealer. But predicating all of those situations on Kaima forcing them is what's holding the deck back. And so I think all these little things where you're just like, oh, I'm just going to chuck an aura on everything and then use Kaima to extract value from it is wrong, because it comes from that premise that we're always jamming Kaima as quickly as possible. And I think you want to wait. It's that simple. And I get why you want to jam, because Kaima is apparently the love of your life. But Kaima is the extremely large gingerbread man from Shrek 2. They are not Shrek. But I think this right now, we are down towards YouTube short behavior only because we're on that wave of always needing our commander to be triggering as many times as possible, rather than thinking about what is the thing about our commander that makes us happy, which in this case is politicking with auras. The commander is going to help with that. It is going to help with the big judo flip moments. We don't need them to do it. And once we break that need, we can play other good creatures that are going to synergize with a non-creature or aura-focused game plan. And we won't get shot in the chest for it nearly as often as we are now. So Eric, that's going to be it for you. And I think that will be it for the stream today. Thank you all for coming. We will be live again tomorrow doing the very same thing. We're going to find somebody to raid. Baked mistakes, we're going to hold that question for now. I feel like a lot of cards were mentioned as wasn't going to work. Can you elaborate on that thought, Eric? Take a look at Knick-Knack. Oof. Ooh, this is heat. That's beautiful. That's a very, very good card for this deck. I mean, what cards did you say for sure need to add? Like you said, Mana Form wasn't great because small, so a bit of cards you showed were kind of eh. That's true. Cards I would say need to add Anzrag or Anzrag accessories. You can consider this a blank card that says big threat. Shishiro, good to add for blockers. If you want chump blockers, play this. If you don't care about chump blockers, don't play this. Add this for sure. Add this for sure, just for card advantage. I would add this for sure if you're willing to ping and if you're willing to enchant your own creatures. Don't add this. But more than adds and cuts, like the problem with this deck is your internal conception of how it's meant to be played. And so we can make between 5 and 10 adds and cuts, but most of what has to change is your impulse to slam Kaima down as quickly as possible, because that's what's jamming the deck up, not the cards in it. I just remembered an entire tech we weren't leaning on. Become brute. Hmm. Oh yeah, you can definitely look at some roll stuff as well. That's a good way to spread. I feel like these should probably replace the other really low cost auras in situations where we just need a thing. Rolls are trash too, I'm afraid. God damn it. All right. We're going to close the stream there. I will see you all tomorrow. We're going to raid out. Who are we going to raid into, though, is the question. Um, honestly, my head hurts too much to scroll, so no raid today, but I will see you all tomorrow at noon Pacific for more of the same. Thank you all for coming very much. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and please remember to stay toxic.